like knock on your door?
Yeah, my neighbor came downstairs and she was knocking on my door. She's older, and she was like, "Was that you yelling out the window?" Because I was playing all this music and being like, "You're fucking retarded." And she was like, "I wanted to come down here and tell you, you're doing a good job, and no one else is saying it. And here's $8." And I was like, "What?" Like she was giving
You
me
got
money,
paid?
and like she's like, "Keep it up." And I was like, "Yeah, just I won't do it at night because I know you guys gotta sleep." So
Nobody. It's the apocalypse. Nobody has to sleep. We're all waking up all night, waiting for the end of the world. Nobody sleeps in the apocalypse. All right,
My sleep issue has been bad. I was sleep deprived for 12 days and starved for 12 days. And that was part of torture. The worst torture is sleep deprivation. And it reset my sleep patterns in some weird way. And then, of course, if I wake up at night, I'm just in terror, so I don't go back to sleep. CBD cured it. I mean, I was on CBD for 2 years, reboot it. Now I'm on the life patches, the light patches, which seems to be rebooting it. But I can go 3 days without sleep, and I'm insane.
That's what I do too. I go like 2 days on, like a day off. It's a good rhythm when you get the blues.
That is, yeah. I mean, I think we're programmed. I don't think we're supposed to go lay down at 10 o'clock and wake up at 5.
I'm thinking of all the blue light in my face all the time. I try to wear those glasses, but I'm just so lazy that I don't do anything.
Sound is back. There we go.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Sorry, anybody who missed it. We were talking about Miss Riley and her megaphone habit.
I love it so much. I think we all need to get megaphones. Everybody keeps asking, what are we going to do?
Oh, I can't wait for mine.
Megaphones, folks. That's what we're going to do.
Exactly.
And Mad Max cars and leather and spiked shoulder pads and crazy people to put on the front of our cars with chains. That's what we need.
And tinfoil masks.
Tinfoil mask. And we need some cream for the mask mouth. When we get all that fungus get to growing and stuff. Everyone looks like me, but it's beard, but it's really fungus. We need some thiolate, mercurochrome, or some of that stuff. Get that rubbed in that cream in there. Some antifungals. Mm-hmm. Melissa Oso.
Melissa Oso. Meth mouth is caused from battery acid. And so when you smoke meth out of a glass pipe, that steam actually condensates on your frontal lobe, and it pits little holes in it.
You want to hear even worse? When they smoke it off of fucking aluminum foil.
That's not good either.
That's insane.
Even more aluminum. You already got a bunch in your brain from the vaccines. So
I spent years doing it. That's why I'm so confused at my level of cognitive abilities. I'm amazed because I smoked meth on aluminum foil for many years. I've done pharmaceuticals for many years. I mean, I feel like personally there's no way I should be this functional, but fuck, here I am.
Well, like you said, you have certain DNA. I'm sure that's just resilient.
I must. That's why when you said that, my jaw dropped. I must.
Tiana is a beast and a monster.
I don't feel like I am. I just feel like I don't have a choice. This is just how it has to be.
Following your
intuition. Ever feel like they're beasts? Lion doesn't feel like it's anything special. Lion just think it's a lion. When it roars, people move. So yeah.
Yeah, a lion doesn't think he's a beast. He just
right. It just have to. It just have to.
It's just life.
Right. Wow.
It's fascinating when I can set myself apart from it and just observe. It's really fascinating. It's exciting to participate in and to watch, and it's possible. I feel like I'm kind of ashamed that I'm not sending that message out more, that I'm not screaming it. That, you know what, fuck guys, no matter what they do, it's okay. You can still be okay. I feel guilt. I should be out there screaming more. Don't let what they're doing break you, because it doesn't have to be.
Megaphones for everyone.
I need like 5 of them, really. Yeah.
Just out the window,
Oh, I would take them everywhere I walked. Are you kidding me? it would be like with my keys, and I would just walk around screaming. They don't want me to have one of those. Shit.
I would just walk quietly into it. You know, when they ask me to wear a mask, because I ask them everywhere I go. Like, the dispensary is the only one I'll put one on because, you know, I got to get my weed. And then at the gym, I'm down there with masks on at the gym. We're all at the gym with masks on going.
You're working out with a
all
mask
passed
on?
out yesterday.
Holy shit.
I had to grab a machine because I'd just done my legs and I stood up and I almost went cold out. I had, and you know, what are we doing in here?
Why
And then
would
our
you do
governor
that to
said,
yourself?
oh, but when you train for the Olympics, they have you wear a mask because you might be participating at high altitude. So it's actually good for your health.
Holy hell.
Oh, no, he didn't. What brand is that?
Yes, he did. Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. So,
What?
no, they
What
keep
am I missing?
asking, what am I eating? I'm not saving grandma at all. See, it starts with cashews. Next is sugar, which is a carcinogen.
I can't
Brown
see you.
sugar,
Why not?
it's not too bad. Contains less of the following: salt. Salt's not too bad. Corn syrup, that's all carcinogen and glyphosate. Butter, that's all carcinogen, glyphosate, poison, pus, blood, and a few other things.
What are we looking at?
Whey protein. The trash that I'm eating. Milk, that's a carcinogen, unfortunately. Natural and
Is it
artificial
really?
flavors. There's no way that's not carcinogen. That's all poison. Peanut oil, it might be okay if it didn't come from the Philippines. If it came from the Philippines, it causes liver cancer. Read the China study. Soy lectin, I'm not sure what lectin is, but damn it, soy ain't no good. In this country, it's all carcinogen. Caramel
Soy
color,
lectin
ain't no
is-
color called caramel in nature. That's called poison. That's
Yeah.
what they were asking if what I was eating. But I eat beans for breakfast. I can eat this if I want to. Y'all need to mind your own business. I can eat this if I'm healthy. I'm not. Grandma ain't got no worry about me. I eat raw food most of the day. I ate some bugs this morning with my beans. Some bugs on beans. Oh, I'm healthy. Grandma ain't got no. I'm protecting grandma. I can eat this. I'm grown. I'm grown. I can protect grandma, and Melissa also get your butt on here. By the way, I need to get off of here. I'm a be here. I don't want to be here. You know what I'm
I
saying?
can't even see you anyway, so
Why can't you see what it? Well, this is racism, Tiana. You need to cut that out. I'm an invisible man or something. Tiana, open your eyes.
it's not
girl.
racism,
2020.
it's sexism. Thank you.
Oh, we got some man hate happening in this. What's up with the man hate? Tiana, refresh your screen, girl. Refresh your screen.
How do you do that? How do I do that?
You don't have a refresh. Are you on your phone or an app?
I'm on my phone.
You're on your phone. I think you have to go out and come back in.
So how do I go out and come back in?
Is there an X?
There's an X, yes.
Okay, hit the X.
Hit the
Melissa
X.
Oso, yeah, and then come back in. Melissa Oso, you don't have 5 minutes, girl. Why you need 5 minutes? You just come on. People watch live stream because they want to see morning face. Did y'all see
Yeah.
Price excuse yesterday? So I didn't want to come on because I had morning face.
Oh man,
Like-
I debuted yesterday, 2 days before yesterday, in a torn. I looked like a goat farmer. I had duck poop in my hair. I had a
Yes!
cowboy shirt on. I had dark circles under my eyes all the way to China.
That's awesome.
That's how it went down.
Well, nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares about morning face, much face, duck doodoo face. Nobody cares. It's in the apocalypse. These are unprecedented times.
Well,
Later-
I can't look too hot on here. Distract from
You
the
have-
world issues.
Right, you need somebody like Holly around because Holly knows what she's doing. You need somebody like Riley because she got a megaphone. Because later you're gonna be running from tigers from your local zoo. You think the lions in the zoo and the bear that y'all went and took pictures from all these damn years, y'all throwing food and candy at you? That the whole time them creatures is waiting for the apocalypse to happen. They were just waiting for the zoo to run out of money.
Never even thought about that.
Oh hell, they gonna open the gates, girl. They all the little people down there at the zoo. I know them. They're all hippies. They're like, all right, we're gonna peacefully put the bear down. No, they're not. We're gonna peacefully open the cage because I know hippies. I know hippies, and I'm a hippie because I probably do what I do. The otters, y'all gonna see otters running through the street. Gonna be some monkeys. Gonna be some cougars. Just get ready. We in the apocalypse. It's gonna be fun.
Well, Dad, Trump just passed a law that it's punishable. It's a felony in these natural disasters. He just passed it a few days ago. That if you don't release your animals when you know that there's a natural disaster coming, that you can really, really be prosecuted for that now.
See, and this is a good point to enter in Tiger King. If y'all did your homework and you watched Tiger King, you would know there are more tigers in the American suburban areas than there are in the wild. So there you go. So everybody with tigers gotta let them go. It's the apocalypse, baby. It's gonna be fun.
Oh, I see. The Saudis are ruthless. The Saudis are just insane with large cats. And when I lived there, I helped start a cat rescue and, you know, spay neuter program, adoption program. It was ridiculously hard. But the other part of it was educating these idiot princes that having a $10,000 cat in their palace is not a good idea. And I mean, they don't even have pet stores over there yet. They're not at the level of evil that we are with the fact that we euthanize. I can't remember the number. It's something like 200,000 a day in this country are euthanized.
We should start euthanizing politicians.
It's a really, maybe it's less than that, but it's a very ridiculous number of animals that are gassed every day because of dog breeding and you know, people that think they can have exotic animals in their homes. And yeah, I just felt like I had to nip that in the bud. I did an education program because these princes think they want to get Rottweilers and pit bulls and start breeding them.
Yeah, we in trouble.
You know, and so I wrote some letters, and we did start, some princesses and I helped start a major cat rescue program that's still going now. I fostered many kittens. We placed them, we neutered them, and we had a Swedish doctor and an Australian vet that just set up in their villas and had us bring them cats and just spayed and neutered all day. And then we tattoo or nick their ear and let them loose. But the big cat situation is even worse worldwide. Yeah. I believe that more cats are incarcerated than in the wild. That's insane.
It is, you know, it's a true story. It's a true statistic. There are more big cats in America in captivity than in the wild. So as much as y'all see, y'all ever see the boats in India? They go out there in the water, the fishing boats, and the tigers swim out there and like knock people off the boat and just eat them. That's what America's gonna be like soon. Let all them tigers loose. And why? Because people out there voting again. Your government don't care about it. Your government don't even care if tigers knock you off your jet ski to chew on. They don't care about you got the sniffles. I like common sense. If they don't care, your neighbors got tarantulas and all kind of reptiles and the pythons. And what happens when people can't feed them things? And now Trump passed a law, which I appreciate. I like that law. I think everybody should let all the animals out to be free and eat on us.
Yeah, back to that balance, for the love of
balance. And then the people who can run, people who can't run, people who know how to hide, don't want to hide, people who want to go on outside while there's a grizzly bear out there. Nature take its course. I believe in the Cullings. I'm on nature's side. People get mad at that all they want. I don't really care if you do. Nature, I'm on nature's side. And the monkeys don't know how to act. They don't know how to love each other. They know how to take care of each other. They know they're supposed to spay and neuter their politicians, but they don't do that. They keep voting for them. So hell yeah, this is what's going to happen.
But also they've noticed when their immune systems are down and when their environment is hacked, they tend to go to other tribes and eat baby.
Eat what? Babies. Is that what she said?
Yeah, she said eat babies.
You know what? And I'm gonna let Melissa Oso in. She's coming in, but I'm gonna say
politicians must have taught them well. Huh.
They still practice that female genitalia mutilation. What is that called? FGM or something in other nations? Mm-hmm. Nah. If you still cutting parts off of babies like that, nah, we need to go all the way to hell. That's exactly where we need to go.
100%. He said all the way to hell.
I'm gonna disappear in my face. I'll still be here in the background where I can talk.
I think we're kind of already there though, Gerard. No?
Kind of where?
Close to me. Hell. I think it's hell on earth. I think it's more conceptual.
Oh no, it's a new hell. No, you missed it's a new book of the Bible. It's called the Book of Gerard. And what the prophet has said is that God is making a new hell. See, because we was foul back in the day, 3,000 years ago. We weren't this foul. And nobody has murdered more than our government. So no, God done made a new hell. They didn't use coal for the fires. They're using JP4, using napalm fires. We're gonna have a whole new hell. It's gonna be a whole torture you. You die. You come back and torture you. They stick some spiky things in your booty hole and torture you. Come back. You die. You don't never die. You don't never go nowhere. It's a new hell. We earned it. We earned every last bit. I did too. I'm gonna be right down there with y'all. We earned every last bit. Melissa Oso is in the house. Let me let Holly back in. I'm gonna close my face. I'll be here, y'all. I can talk. You won't see my face. But all the
I haven't seen your face this whole time, so it's okay.
Hi.
Hey.
Oh, hello. Oh, heck.
Y'all know each other?
Can't hear you.
Y'all friends?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Right, good. All right. Melissa Oso. I think you all know. I don't. Do you all know me?
I don't.
I don't think I've met you either.
I'm Holly. I think I've seen your name though on the feed, so on the
Okay.
lives. Yeah.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Yes.
What were we talking about?
Everything.
Okay.
Right now.
Pick a
Well,
topic.
Okay. Well, I have a topic.
Baby torture.
Does anybody have a topic, or if not, I have a topic.
Sure.
Me. Okay. What I'm trying today is I realize that I'm yelling too much at people, and it's like not really working. I'm trying to see where to look at. Oh my god, my eyes. I guess I'll look here. I realize it's not working, and I'm just like getting really angry, and it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. So in my
Aren't there
mind,
fetal cells in like pop and chips and energy?
are we talking about food? Sorry.
You know, aren't they already for like a long time?
Yeah, man, really.
Hold on, let me raise this. Okay. Yeah, it's weird because I like it better with my headphones because I can hear you guys, but then you guys can't hear me.
I'm
your
interested
mic is
already.
broken?
Yeah, go talk about the yelling, and yeah, I'm interested already because my PTSD makes me scream.
Yeah, mine. I've been a lunatic the last few days, an utter lunatic. So I had probably a dark night of the soul last night, and I released a lot of stuff. And you know, the way I release it, I kind of just let it out into the universe, and I say my truth, honest, completely honest truth. And I felt a little better this morning, and then you know, everything seemed to be falling in line. And I decided that and everybody has always been telling me people would listen to you more. They love what you say, but you're too aggressive, and it turns people off. And I never wanted to hear it because I was frustrated. I was frustrated for years of knowing all this stuff being laughed at. You know, the constant work that we do that's volunteer. You know, we don't get paid to do this. There's no, there's not it's not rewarding in that way. We do it because we want to know the truth.
Are you an Aries or a Sag or a Gemini?
No, Aquarian.
Aquarian, okay.
Yeah.
That's up there too, though. That's the watery version of sometimes the fire signs. Is Aquarius air or water? I think it's air.
Yeah, it's not water. I love water, but it's not water. But anyway, so today I just had a shift, and I actually put a test out on my page, and I said I'm going to try to because I was like telling everybody to shut the F up, you know, like just I couldn't even tolerate him anymore, and I wasn't even debating anymore and I realized our argument is too over their heads because we debate specific little things, you know, that we argue over. They can't handle that. You know, so in my mind, like if I'm going to engage with them, I got to speak at their level at least, and maybe throw questions out there. I'm never going to, or else we're just kind of wasting our time anyway. Like, well, don't engage them at all then. Like, I think if we're going to yell at them, don't engage them. You know, I'm going to try it. I'm not saying for anybody else to do it. You know, these are things that I use, and it's a suggestion to try because I'm trying it, but I'm not telling anybody what to do because that's annoying too.
It's absolutely an issue we're all dealing with the stress. Also, for those of us that are looking to have CPTSD, it's part of it. There was a time when I had to scream to save my life, you know, and so my response very often is to speak aggressively, like desperately, you know, I'll be like,
yeah, me too.
Somebody help me in this house. Like I've asked you to do the dishes. You know, that's when my yelling comes from because I'm feeling like I'm not safe. You know, and then of course, my manipulative ass teenagers have turned it into, oh, well, now we're traumatized because you've yelled at us. It's like,
Yes, people say that.
Well, for me, I don't have a problem with the yelling, the loud, because I've always been very loud.
Me
The
too.
same for the exact same reasons, Holly. But for me, it's when it gets disrespectful, when it gets offensive, when it
Yeah.
gets just rude and abusive. That's when I have to say
Yeah.
no. That's when I
understand
have to cut it off and say I can't associate with you. I've had enough abuse, and I have that boundary. I will take no more. Period. And if that's how you're going to come at me, then you're not going to come at me. You will be gone.
Know what I'd like to add? Know what I'd like to say? What for everybody maybe to think about, where is your level of abuse? Because that's different for everybody, right? Everybody has a different level.
Yeah.
Like for me, sometimes words aren't always really aren't that level. I have a certain level. Or if I feel betrayed, the betrayal, it could be. But what are you connecting the betrayal with? That kind of thing. But I think everybody has different levels, and some are obvious to everybody, and,
like our
and some of it's
triggers,
like
yeah.
the
You
spectrum,
get
right?
triggers a hold of your triggers, or your triggers will get a hold of you.
Yeah, I'm realizing that.
100%. 100%. Yeah. So that's where boundaries are important, though.
Right.
And
I'm
I've
all about the
noticed that
boundaries. I'm
I've
all
had
about the
whole
boundaries.
issues develop with people in my life, my partner even, about things that I was feeling and thinking due to my CPTSD, and they didn't even say that, or they might have said something and I completely took it wrong because I took it in the context that I'm not safe, because
Yeah.
that's where I
Yeah.
go when I'm not okay. I'm in a mental
Yeah.
state of unsafe. I'm not only unsafe, I'm going to be killed.
Yes.
Those are my
Yes.
responses. And so
Exactly.
when something
Yeah.
goes down,
It's fight or flight right now.
it can just turn into an absolute nightmare. So like you said, I need to decide to not even talk to some people, because I
Yeah.
know I'm going to be triggered, and
Yeah.
they're not
Me
going to
too.
do anything to start it.
Yep.
Right. Well, I kind of I would say I start it mostly, but I feel like if you ask me for a temperature check or you ask me to put a mask on, that's starting it. So if you that's the level. So that's why, to protect myself, I don't go out. I stay in my backyard, because I know that, to me, yes, I'm going to be triggered by asking for I'm going to be triggered by the sensor lady at my door, the census lady, asking me for information.
I
I'm
got
sensitive to
really
any talk of
triggered because they came
vaccination.
to my
I'm
house twice.
triggered. Yeah, me too, twice.
Okay, let me
3
start.
times for me.
56 years,
Yep.
never
Oh
had
yeah, you forget it.
never had a census person show up at my front door. This year, I got 5
3
emails.
times.
Then a clown showed up. My kids were like, "Mom, just tell him something." I didn't answer any of the race questions.
Yep.
What races?
I told them human.
People who lives
Yeah, I
in
know.
their
Oh, good
house.
for you.
Fucking
I
human.
didn't answer any of that, and so I thought it was satisfied. She put me in as having filled out the. I don't want to be out there not filling out the census either. If we're going to a Jade Helm crackdown, I'm trying to get top bunk here, so I'm trying to get under the radar if they are going to lock us down. So I thought, well, okay, there you go. There's your census. No, 2 days later, another one came to my door. And man, I opened the front door. I said, what in the hell did that lady that was here 2 days ago do with my personal information then? Oh, I don't know. It's not in the system.
I mean, it could be they are a
"Get off my
bureaucracy and they are terrible, but that's
She
what
goes
I
and
wonder.
sits
How
in
can
her-
they be so terrible? Like when you think of the post office, sometimes you think of DMV, you think of any social service, how terrible they are, and how, like, in certain ways, like there's like I'm trying to think of like thoughts you have when you think of these agencies, that they're not on top of things, but then in other areas they are. The IRS is on top of a lot, So it's interesting. So we don't know what is this.
Because that's all the money.
Yeah,
That's money. That's the most important thing on the planet. That's
I
why
think
they're
the
on top of
census
it.
might
That's
be
money.
too, because those body counts are about voting districts and all. I don't know, with whatever manipulative plans they have to use that for. They're using it for not a good plan. We all know that. They always use it for a reason or another.
Well, how many vaccines do we need to come prepared with? How many beds in our FEMA camps do we need to prepare? How many officers do we need to send? Yeah, it's for a fucking reason. They're trying to kill you.
I think that. See, that's what I think too. So if people watch this, like if any normies watch this, they'll say this and be like, "Oh my God, they're like conspiracy theorists."
No, we're bullshit analyzers.
Yeah. This is like, see, I want to tell the normies that this is like another level stage that you're still on the
It's
mask.
not normies. They're not normal. There's nothing normal about that. I
I
just
don't
call
think they're even in the
Zombie
majority anymore. I
zombie
really don't think they're in the majority anymore. This is another deception of the media, another deception of the lockdown and the masks. I believe that we are nearing, if not there, the majority, to be the majority of people who actually, when they want to sit down and be serious, they believe the way we do. They suspect things.
Yes.
They will at least have a conversation with me
Not
now.
rather. Not rather.
My area is questionable
Zombie
too.
fucking land.
I would say 'cause I'm in a really Democrat. I'm 5 minutes from New York City. So when I freak out on you guys, I freak out because I am surrounded by these people. Okay.
I know.
Yep.
So I get a little feisty.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
also know that we're going to be like Tiana too, where Tiana has gotten hit more quicker than we have. So I watched Tiana to see what's going, because she had the riots by her. Everything happened in Washington State first. So I'm watching that before it comes here.
And
But
there's
I'm 5 minutes from New York City. That's why I protested the BLM protest in my town, because I'm 5 minutes. And
what's
you know,
funny is they're doing way worse to the people in New York though. They've got all those checkpoints and curfews, and New York is treated way worse than here in Washington. You had the riots
to my
first.
understanding, the checkpoints, and again, I don't leave my backyard, but the checkpoints, my understanding, are if there's certain states that we have reciprocity. So we're allowed, like for New Jersey, we can go right into New York without having to do the temperature check. But other states, out of states, they do check. Well, I'm just clarifying that one point. I'm saying it's evil. I know their plan, but I'm just clarifying that one point.
Yeah. I think there's certain states that are actual, I call them Jade Helm drill states. New
Yeah.
York, Florida, California, probably Oregon. I'm
We
not
are.
sure.
I would say we are. We're under
New
Murphy.
Mexico,
Murphy's the big vaccination guy. He's big on that. He tried Murphy before the lockdown. There was a protest in Trenton because he was trying to make it mandatory to get rid of the religious exemption for vaccinations, and parents were freaking out. And then it was in January, and then right around that time, then we're hearing more about the virus. The virus was coming, and then everything backed up on it. So they're going to try that avenue. And with the pharmaceutical, New Jersey is very big in the pharmaceutical industry, and I believe it's 1 out of 37 children in New Jersey are diagnosed with autism. It's bad here. It's very bad here. Very, very
Well,
bad.
they have specific batches for specific neighborhoods and specific clinics. That's one thing that people have a hard time believing. They have an actual batch of vaccines for a particular neighborhood outside of Detroit, and they track these kids, all 17 autistic ones of them, through their lives. And they do experiments on them in the medical profession while you bring them back in to get help, because nobody knows why your kid just stopped talking when they were 18 months old within 72 hours of their MMR.
Holy fuck.
That's some heavy stuff. That's heavy stuff to take that in. I want to say to other people too, even us as researchers,
right now.
it's hard to take this in. It's hard to take it in.
Yeah. Wow.
We're not immune. Because when we lash out, we're not immune. It takes a toll, and we don't stop learning. So we're constantly taking this in because we have to know what they're doing.
It makes me wonder if the genetic disorder my son was born with was
No, it wasn't.
genetic.
It was either a birth injury or it was vaccine damage. And did you remember getting any vaccines when you were pregnant with him?
Yeah.
Okay, that damaged his nervous system.
I was forced into a fucking rehab.
First time I got a flu shot.
For smoking pot before I got pregnant with him. And I got pregnant in the rehab. So in the rehab, they're doping the fuck out of you.
Oh, yeah, you were on medications most likely.
Not on top of the patch because you can't smoke. So they give you the patch. So I'm trying to wrap my brain because they always made it feel like it was my genetics. It was my fault that my son.
It's not our fault.
Wow.
We turned our kids over It's not our fault. It's not any of our faults, and the guilt that comes along with it further
so
damages the
fucking crushing.
family.
So crushing for 12 years. I thought I did that to him. That's wow.
And so
Wow.
reversible too. It's called heavy metal detox. It's the first thing we want to start doing. I have seen with my own eyes, and I don't mean to say this insultingly or anything. I worked with autistic kids for 20 years. I've seen with my own eyes a child that was beating himself on the floor bloody in a year and a half go to wearing a suit and tie for a selfie.
Wow.
And talking. I can't talk about what helped him do that. I mean, CBD I've already mentioned. There's a protocol for heavy metal detox.
Wow.
And it works. And you will see improvements. Yeah, you look like me for the past 2 days.
I've been a lunatic the last couple days, so don't mind me. I'm so
We're all lunatics now.
I'm realizing
We're all
that this is more
lunatics,
than
right?
movies. This is where we are right now. Okay, we are on the front line, and all of us are freaking down for the count.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what do y'all think now? Who's going to do it now? Because we've been pushing ourselves till I just feel like all of us are just exhausted. Like,
Well, when I tell people this is war, guys, this is people look at me like I have 5 eyeballs. We're at war, guys. Are you not getting it? This is not just hard times. This is fucking war. And people are like, no. Oh my God. I feel really, just really, come on.
Okay, Tiana, can I continue with something? You were saying not feeling worthy. I wanted to talk about that a little bit. I saw a lot of pain when you were talking about that, so maybe we could talk about that a little bit.
Not feeling worthy? What do you mean?
I'm not drunk and nasty now. The other time I was drunk.
Talking about my son?
Drunk.
Well, because that was how they took him. They took him because of his illness. They took him because he was born terminal, and I had no family support. I was homeless at the time. I had no insurance. And that's not it. I had past, they had taken kids before. So once you have past history with the state, it makes it very easy for them to come in and just move for any reason. And the reasons they used for him were I had no insurance, I was homeless, and I couldn't care for him.
You can't even prove he had the disorder. That's the kind of stuff they'll pull, Tiana.
So yeah, but it was genetic, and it was something I had to have done because it was my genetics that made him that way. That was the whole way they twisted it, and that was how they took him.
Well, I'm saying, yeah, they might have lied about that he may not have even been showing up with their fake genetic condition. It might have been just a need to detox. But yeah, they target kids, they target families. They've targeted families during this COVID-19. If you have a family and they're going, oh, I hope he doesn't have COVID. Oh my God. Oh, the pandemic. They're going to diagnose your loved one with corona, and they're going to get their $39,000 for the ventilator before they take him out. Because they know
or what they do
you come in there saying, diagnose my baby with a runny nose with COVID, and I will take you out. They're not going to diagnose your baby with COVID because they know you're onto him. But if you come in mass crying about, oh, the COVID, God, tell us he doesn't have the COVID.
No.
I have all the testing they're doing. We're paying for all that. All the testing.
Yeah.
And there's lines around the corner. They go in inner city areas and they have all these people get tested because they scare the crap out of them. So that's another way to get money. So someone
they tell them it's negative.
We're getting like we're hemorrhaging money. Like,
not only that, but they test the children and then tell the parents it's negative. I've heard it. It's negative, but they're asymptomatic. So next time they get a sniffles or a cough, it's probably that. So you got to come back and keep testing.
Right.
I have friends and family that keep testing their kids because, oh my God, he might be asymptomatic. They told me he's asymptomatic, so now we got to keep testing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
They're totally
get these fools to shove a stick up their kid's nose and let us have a little tab of their DNA of their brain?
Mind blowing.
What will it take to get them to turn their kids over voluntarily so we can sample their brain tissue at will freely from now on? What does it take?
I think that also you guys want the Colbert reports. A lot of his stuff really upsets me with the contact tracing, the Clinton Foundation. That stuff is really like that stuff is upsetting.
Disgusting. That's
It's
fucking
horrifying. It's
Then you're watching the local news and they're like, casually just saying, "Oh, we have the contact tracers," and when you watch the hardcore stuff, you're like, everybody's like, "Oh, great, the contact tracers," like, then it makes me feel hopeless. Then I feel hopeless, and no one around the table is concerned. Like, okay, the contact tracers,
Well, it's all about spelling. We've been controlled by spelling for a long time, since Latin was invented. So the spelling is very important. And COVID means covert ID. Corona means crown. So there's a lot going on with the subconscious use of the spelling, the actual words that are stated every day, masking, stay safe, be safe, stay home.
Yes,
Those are
yes.
programming us with spelling.
All over Facebook too, everywhere, every commercial, it's everywhere. So we're
It's
not used
everywhere.
to it because we shut out mainstream media. I don't even watch a commercial. I haven't
Me
listened
too.
to video in years because of the
Me
commercial.
too. No
I
TV.
can't
Yep.
because they big Twitch. So these people are being. So we know. I Twitch. I can't hit. It makes me want to punch a wall when I hear a
I
commercial.
do too. Plus, nobody in the house allows me to watch TV. I mean, we don't have a TV, but if we go to somebody's house for like a barbecue and the TV, and I walk through the living room, there I go. Oh yeah, CNN, drinking some baby blood, and I mean, I have to comment on every
Right,
freaking
me
thing,
too.
any news thing, and I go off on tangents, and I
Me
stand
too.
there and like, oh yeah, is that right? Well, you're a libtard, freaking fascist, so do. And everybody's just like, get her away from the TV. Nobody wants me around when the news is on because I can't open my mouth.
So I want other people to know there's a bunch of us. It's not just
Yeah, good.
me. People think it's me. My husband just thinks it's me. I'm like, no,
I
it's not
wish
just
there were more of us. There's not enough of us.
I think there are. I think that when you watch TV, they make you think that you're the minority and you're not.
I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV. I haven't watched TV for like 20 years.
But I'm saying they show on TV to make it look like we're in the minority. I don't think we are. I don't think people are that stupid. The last Dr. Buttar video, he talked about how the last poll, the people who wanted the vaccine went from 80-something% to 40-something%. I think more people are awake than what we think, but they're trying to make you feel like they're home.
I agree with that.
Oh, and stuff like this, real people listening to real people.
Yes.
You cannot imagine how this is going to push it forward.
I guess what I want to think about are what are my arguments in my mind, or not my arguments, because it's not really an argument. And that if I approach it from the way that here's the information. So like if I kind of prepare if I'm going to walk into like a Fort Lee Today page, okay, normally what I do is I go in there. I don't want to spend my whole day in there. And there's so much work to do in there. So I just go in there, I rip up the carpet, and I piss on the floor and I leave. That's how I used to do it. However, I want to now change that. Because I just stir crap and I'm not spending a day there. So I just want to cause a chaos and maybe they'll come back to my page and check. That's what I do. That's my approach. Because it's like, use your time. I'm not spending a day in there arguing about one mask. I'm just not doing that. So, I think if I make some points of what's the level, I kind of sense where a level's at and maybe think of my point. I'm not jumping to New World Order with somebody on that page. Already what they do is the Alex Jones meme and the laughing emojis. This is what I'm dealing with when I come across some, just certain personalities.
The laughing emojis.
Yeah, they do a lot of laughing emojis, and they say Trump, Orange Man, bad. Like, you know how they talk. Like, there's no substance to it. Like, well, them, there's no point. However, people are watching it. So I have to, that's what I want to come up as my talking points. And if I stay with that, I won't get so angry because I'm reacting each time to each comment. If I just keep it that, even if they're insulting me because they call me a conspiracy theory and they laugh at me and stuff, even if they do that.
So don't read the comments till it's over. So you're not reacting. Wait till your live is over. You said what you had to say.
Page. Not my live. I don't even read I'm horrible at my comments. You guys know I'm terrible at my comment. And then when I have to get off, I have to get off. Like, I'm very abrupt. It'll work on that too.
I love the way Gerard did it over the last few. I'm not sure how long he's been on, but I love the way he kind of developed this atmosphere. And at first it was a little sparky, you know. Sometimes I know I jumped on with some bullshit a few times, and it kind of, you know, rocked the boat, but it balanced itself out, and he never really responded much to any of the kind of static that was developing in the environment, if you will, that we've been building. And looking back on it, it's pretty interesting that, you know, gathering us together, we have a lot of energy. You know, we're all very fierce warriors, and so to get together like this is really taking some, you know, handling of our energies, and him
It's
not
been very
responding
cathartic.
on any of the kind of stuff that would try to get going and building this trust. I really respect the way he did that. And it's kind of that, you know, neutral party, where people can, you know, start a dumpster fire on your thing, but you're not going to react because you're hoping. Well, and in our case, there were enough people among us that kind of kept things on track, you know, and we all understand that this is a very volatile subject. Our nerves are frayed. You know, we're done, we're finished, we're really worked up. So to maintain this environment for ourselves comfortably and safely is quite a feat, and I think we've done it.
Am I the only one that thinks these are fucking super exciting times, though?
I do.
I really think this is just super. I'm super excited. It's
Researchers.
fascinating to me.
We've been saying it's time. You know, it's coming soon. There'll be a time to wake up. Now it's here. We know it. Well,
I don't understand that concept. I don't.
Oh, the wake up. I never knew what exactly happened, but I knew there was a time. I've been saying it for years. If you look at my posts, I've been saying it for years, and I'm sure many of us. I see people that have been saying it way before I have, and then I'm like, okay, it's here. I think we're more than ever. Although we're in an authoritarian lockdown filled with lies, we are more bold than ever. I've never behaved like this in my town ever. I mean, I have behaved badly at certain points, but not as bad as this. Okay, put it that way. Not bad. To them, it's bad, I guess.
Naughty.
Provocative. I've been provocative. Put it that way. Because we needed to bring it to our community. I've always known a lot of that. We've always been researching, but most of it was like, you know, geopolitics or, you know, the election, and now it's in our community. So we had to apply like the power that we had and we learned there, and now bring it to our community. And that's been the hardest thing. Bring it to the community because you're around people that you know, and I've gotten, you know, backlash. It's been, you know, very, very, but it's built my character. Oh my God, did it build my character?
Yeah, it does. It does, and that's a great thing. And I was just gonna say we've all been through so much, and I tend to visit the past. You know, with my PTSD, I can really visit it in a big way sometimes, and you know, set the mood for my whole week. And in the past, I didn't even realize what had happened. I would visit a memory and establish these neural reactions for my whole week instead of clearing that. You know, I'd go out, and it was like I'm literally in the middle of a memory that I didn't have before. And knowing myself, I know how to process it. That's what they pay me the big bucks to do. And I wouldn't do it for myself. I would just send myself out in public. And, you know, at the end of the day, I realized I'm grieving. I'm grieving everything right now. And, you know, for me, I lost my parents in the past 5 years to pharmaceutical murder. I believe my dad was killed, absolutely murdered, because we were recovering his cancer. And he had just gone in for a feeding tube so we could, as he said, pump our hippie stuff in him and he wouldn't have to taste it. And my sister spent $5,000 on alternative enzyme therapies, and we were on everything. The man was up, he was healing. Because at the end of the day, it was fungus. Cancer is fungus. And that's how it needs to be treated. And when you have somebody that has open heart surgery, they open the chest cavity and it enters air into the chest cavity. So then very often you'll have our grandfathers and dads show up with lung cancer or kidney cancer or some pain in the shoulder and a chest mass. And it's stage 4 cancer. No, it's not. It's fungus that grew in the chest cavity when you opened it. Instead of making that patient prevent heart disease, we just cut their chest open. Well, there's consequences to that. And cancer is a fungus. It's an imbalance of alkalinity. End of story.
I want to say something too. When I was younger, my skin broke out a lot, and I was on tetracycline for years. That antibiotic for years, and then Accutane. Twice.
Yeah, those were actual projects. Those were actual experimental projects. That the asthma inhalers. You notice all the kids have matching asthma backpacks. Oh my goodness, what a gorgeous print.
I'm sorry. Thank
They I can't remember what I was talking about. Your precious child distracted me.
Oh, I look disgusted.
What were we talking about? Oh, cancer and fungus and
I gotta think I'm beautiful.
yeah, alkalinity is very important. And of course, like Gerard was saying, all of that corn syrup and stuff just spikes your acidity. So we don't stand a chance for maintaining a balance of alkalinity in our bodies anymore, not with our diet. Sodas alone make it impossible for your body to be alkaline. And the more hours it's acidic, the more oxygen, you know, what's the word when oxygen isn't any longer possible? It's oxidized. You know, your body starts to oxidize on the inside.
What does that mean?
Like rust, or like, you know, because of the lack of alkalinity, like when you let the swimming pool get real acidic and you don't add your pH balance, there's oxidation that will form on the side, like rust. And it could easily be what causes our joints to be stiff and things like that. But it's all very, 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 very simple science. That the pink ribbon is collecting adrenochrome. That was my case in Saudi Arabia. It was the largest children's cancer hospital in the world.
Oh, fuck.
And they were trafficking the heroin, the morphine that they used for these bone marrow procedures, and they were doing them unanesthetized. And
oh no, dick.
That's how you get adrenochrome. St. Jude's Hospital is also involved.
Okay. Your specialty. That's your baby. What can people know to do? What's the first step they can do? Like, let's say someone's like new watching this. What's something they can do to buddy? What's something that they can do to, like, a first step to try and get their body more alkaline? Is that what it's called, or how would you term that?
Improve and increase your alkalinity. When you start looking at what causes acidity, I know. Can I smoke a joint on this live? Probably not.
I'm gonna have one too, but it's outside, and I don't want to dare to see what I look like outside. Lighting's key, man.
Well, first of all,
I don't want to know.
No, y'all not. Y'all.
I don't want to know, and I don't wear sunglasses anymore.
Y'all just gonna let that slide.
They give you when you're pregnant, it starts the acidity. The first flu shot they give you when you're pregnant, the first DPT shot that they convince these pregnant mothers to receive, that starts the acidity process for your baby.
Go.
Even things, well, vaccination, of course, the heavy metal immediately starts to acidify the body. Antibiotics, you know, these kids that have vaccine damage, so their immune system's affected, they have ear issues. We all know one. They've gotten ear tubes. Now, ear tubes are just like asthma backpacks now. Everybody should have one. Yeah,
I do notice that. Does your child
have ear tubes yet? Does your child have an asthma backpack yet? Join us. Okay. Yeah. It starts at birth. Do not let them touch your child, ever. Don't let them lay a hand on your offspring. That's the first step. First step is grieve what's happened to us. Grieve your ass off. Grieve and grieve and grieve for your own frontal lobe loss that kept you from becoming who you are in this world, to the damage you may have unwillingly and unknowingly caused to your child, and for the damage that they've done, the fact that you can't progress in your career because of the pharmaceutical industry. Grieve it all. Grieve and cry and scream and kick your feet, and then step between your child and these sickness, and don't ever let them lay a hand on them. Don't send your child to state daycare centers so you can work a 40-hour week at $5 an hour. Don't do it. Start your own business.
Yeah, I agree with that. Become an entrepreneur.
Grow some carrots and sell them on Facebook. Literally, have your kid help you grow the carrots. Do anything. Sell your wedding ring that meant nothing because it was the same thing as a birth certificate, and now your marriage is over anyway. Get rid of it. Get some money and start building your business. Don't put your baby in the Montessori free Head Start program so that you can go work your $7 an hour job. Don't do it. And I know a lot of people tell me, well, that's easy to say. Well, I've sat here with no income for 5 years. The only reason I didn't lose my house with no utilities on in it is because I have one person in my life, my biological sister, who cares about me, and she paid my house off. I've been here with no income. Don't tell me you have to put your kids in daycare. Don't tell me you have to inject them with heavy metal in order for them to go to school so they can make something of themselves. Get the vaccine waiver. Take them out. Teach them how to grow a garden. None of it is as crucial and critical and an emergency as they say it is. No, your child doesn't have to have his shots before next week so that he can be in kindergarten. Sit back. Be quiet for a minute. Listen. Think. Consider your options. Quit handing your children over to Satanists. That's what we can do.
Yeah, I keep talking to my husband about that because I'm having an issue. Like, I am fighting the school about opening, because, like, it actually puts a lot of even single mothers in really hard situations with it. And the whole, I don't even need to get into the argument why I'm fighting for the schools to be open or reopen. We all know that. The second layer of it is, though, he's being indoctrinated when they're going. Because I've looked at the textbooks and all. I mean, if you're somebody who actually, really looked into things, you see glaring problems, and that you're wasting my kid's time, bringing them in there. Not only that, now we have to undo it. So he's going to school every day, and we got to undo, and they're not teaching anyone to think at all. Because I'm looking, of course, we're looking around. We're like, really, not many people are thinking. So we're questioning the whole. Of course, we're questioning the education system. But there's so many issues that it's so overwhelming because you see it everywhere. Even me, I'm a therapist. In March, I couldn't work anymore. I just couldn't do it. Like it was a very busy research time, and maybe it was February even, and I just couldn't do it anymore. And I'm like, if I were going to be a therapist again, I would be one that includes everything, like the intuitive, like using your intuition more, but not like from a clinical, sanitized way. Whoever comes to my office, I meet them where they're at, and I can be creative with that, and teaching them not to be a victim. Like, part of my thing, because I'm going to set it down. I'm not going to have you come every week and you're a victim. Don't come to me then as a therapist. If you want to see me, that's not going to work for me because I can't do that every week. So I would have a certain way about me that I would present it to people. Like if you're knowing what you're getting into when you're coming, you're going to leave a god.
It's called brief motivational interviewing. Brief interview. I don't even.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I know you're saying
because I didn't want to, but I use it. It's the quick method. It's what are we going to do in 20 minutes? I know you've had a hard childhood, but I don't want to hear it because I'm sure it's real bad. Where are you right now? And what's in your toolbox? Because you've got 10 minutes. And believe it or not, people respond to that.
I love that.
Most of them have already rehashed their childhoods. I'm exaggerating. Okay, yes, we do sit and talk about your child because there are some aspects of it that are, obviously still affecting your life. But at the end of the day, considering we could all be hit by a bus tomorrow, what do you got going for you right now? What do we have to? I call it the toolbox. Okay, sit down.
Yes.
Who are you? Where are you?
Yes.
And what's in your toolbox? And how can I add some tools or help you learn how to use that one? And that's all you need. They, Freud was right. But like I said, we've done so much damage. You don't want these people to get in touch with the fact that they hate their mother and why, because we all know why. Because she took him in to be circumcised. That started the whole thing. And then it doesn't matter what fight you had when you were 13 where she told you that she wished you were never born. That bond was broken in the beginning. And so we're fighting a losing battle out here with our kids, trying to bond a chemical bond that's not there.
Can I say another thing that's really concerning? Because the way I'm seeing, I'm telling, they're still doing it, but I'm telling people, be careful when you send your kids away to university. You're spending how much, $100,000 to send your kid away, and they come back as a rabid.
Vaccinated. They come back vaccinated.
Well, they come back with a glaze in their eyes, so you spend all this money, and they're not taught to think for themselves. They're angry. They're taught the dogma. We know what they're all the woke right now. They're all the woke. And I just engaged one the other day. I had a situation where I was on the town page, And this kid that I knew that I was at the park with like a year ago in the summer, sweetest kid ever, sweet. And I was on a thread about the school, and he jumps on and like just goes at me, like saying I'm conspiracy, like rage. But he also probably knew I protested the Black Lives Matter protest in my town. But utter rage at me, and I'm like, wow, you know. And I realized it's the dogma that they're getting. And you know, I told people you could send your kid, but they can come back with this dogma because you're surrounded by it. You're surrounded. I mean, some get out.
Serious dogma. My doula, who's the biggest hippie in the universe. Okay, I'm birthing out in the woods in the water type doula. She has 3 kids similar to my ages. Her oldest, I can't make sure I don't say names. Anyway, we're the ones that like spent thousands of dollars on organic food. Organic carrot juice every day, breastfed till 2.5. Don't touch that. It's got corn syrup in it. I spent every drop of energy I have. So did she. Her oldest son goes away to MIT and comes back and calls her from the clinic. Now this woman is majorly up there in her frequency. She was like, it's his life. I bawled my eyes out for 4 days. I was absolutely.
Who is this woman? Can she get on my friends list?
Oh, she's amazing.
Woman?
She's the baby whisperer. She talks to babies in the womb. She's
okay.
Incredibly amazing. But she just like let it go. I cried for 4 days because her oldest son went and got himself fully vaccinated at the university clinic. Because
that's a problem for a lot of grandparents who are woke, especially for grandparents.
I have a 6'4", 22-year-old that doesn't have a toxin in his body, and he threatens me every day to go get himself vaccinated. He calls me a boomer hippie. He's pissed. He hates me. Okay, he doesn't mind that I didn't amputate his sexual organ though.
Yeah.
By the way, but the fact that I didn't inject him with heavy metals, he's having a serious problem with right now because he's being brainwashed at the University of the State of New Mexico. And told things like you can't register for classes unless you go to the clinic and get those requirements.
Yeah, that's what they get you.
They don't say it outright because they know they can't make them. They're adults.
Well, my son called me a racist too. My son called me a racist. He was out before the Black Lives Matter protest. He's on his bike, and you know me. I'm like, and I yell, you know me. I'm gonna try and walk it back and be a little calmer in the future. But I just opened my door, and I already knew like the protests were around here, so I was starting to pace, and I just opened the door, and I'm like, Black Lives Matter do not care about people. They're looking to divide us, not unify us. And everybody looked at me like I had 3 heads. They looked at me, like, oh, this crazy woman. And my son looks at me and he calls me a racist. So like I flipped, so he gets it now.
Tag your son in this. So first of all, white folks protest for Black Lives Matter right down the street from me. I tell you all the time, I drive right past them. It's like, hey, white people, hey.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
Hey, how y'all doing?
It's always white people. It is. It's always them.
So the thing, and the funny thing is, I didn't know they're there until my son told me. And my son was like, Dad, yeah, they're always out there. So we drove past them one day. My son, he understands what's going on. You will not catch him anywhere near this nonsense. Black Lives Matter is a political organization. I'm at the point where I'm going to say they almost hate Black people, right? That's where I'm at. So, 90% of the people in the organization have no clue who they are, right? There are people who want to help, but they don't understand that it's a political organization. So one thing that I'd recommend people do who don't get it, perhaps your son, is try to donate money. Just go on right out to their website. I've never tried to do it, but people
I did.
It takes you to the DNC website. Okay, it's a political organization. They want votes. That happens to be the same party that wrote the crime bill, which made Black lives not matter. It also happens to be the same political party that put Joe Biden in place, the man who wrote the crime bill. Okay, so in reality, these people don't give 2 damns about Black people. The people protesting do, and they're clueless.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I have to say something too. Men don't spit on women. There is no grown man that spits on women. That's called a child. That's not a man. Don't ever be fearful of men because of the ignorance. I saw your post this morning. Grown men don't cuss at women. Grown men don't spit at women. Grown men don't touch women. That's what boys do. Women need to make sure you have
boys. Actually, they're teenagers, but it was a high school protest. So I'm 5'4", so even if they're 18, 19, even early 20s, they're going to be tall. So for me, I did have trauma from it, just
Yeah.
walking through it, and then it
Their brain,
triggered other. But
they're brainwashed children. I just want to make sure. I
I
want
don't
to
believe them.
clarify that. Right. I want to clarify that and try to summarize it, because people tune in sometimes and they don't know what we talk about. We talk about things from a reality perspective. Right. And from a reality perspective, Black Lives Matter cares if a white cop kills a black guy. If a black cop kills a black guy, they don't give two damns.
No.
Black guy kills a black guy, they don't give two damns. Mass incarceration, they don't give two damns. Poverty in it, they don't give two damns. It's not any different than White Lives Matter. It's the same exact. It's a political organization making a political point. Same thing with every movement. Every movement.
Well, it's actually the Bureau of Land Management. It's the Bureau of Land Management, and it's Baal, Lucifer, and Moloch. The Bureau of Land. Does anybody remember the Native American story? Am I the only one that remembers something about wool blankets and smallpox and reservation and rounding people up? Am I the only one that remembers that? Because the Native Americans in my country right now, I was behind the Standing Rock thing until I saw the quote unquote leaders of this Standing Rock movement start arguing amongst themselves about whether they should have medical checkpoints on the reservation, testing them for coronavirus. The libtards have infiltrated our Native American reservations. Does anybody remember when those things were set up?
Wait, remember during Standing Rock? Because I was in there with Standing Rock and all those groups, and the leaders sold them out. Remember? We were giving them all that money, and they sold them out. That happened there. That was so heartbreaking.
They're a bunch of Trump haters now, and I live in a state where we have some of we have the most Indian reservations here, Native American reservations, and I lived on one. I did one of my my internships on the Navajo at the Hopi and Navajo Indian Reservation in Pinon, Arizona, which is about 20 miles from the edge of the Grand Canyon. Now, this whole area is questionable. Arizona, trafficking, 4 reservations corner there. It's called the Four Corners area. And the way I ended up there was bizarre. It was my kid's dad was freaking out that he didn't have a job, and he applied for a teaching job and got this teaching job. And then basically insisted on going up there. I was trying to get him to wait so he could go overseas and do it right, but he's one of these guys that, if he doesn't have a job, he was jonesing really bad. So he takes this teaching job, and I'm like, that's not really a good idea, simply because there's so much corruption going on the reservation.
I know.
I can't imagine that the public school system is going to be that fun. And so he didn't listen to me. He went and took the job. I actually stayed at my mom's house for 6 months with a baby until I went up there and followed him and lived in it. And what happened after that changed my life, because I was exposed to what's really going on with the Bureau of Land Management. And that's what BLM is, folks. And you don't even know, we don't even see the horn sticking up out of the water yet.
Good thing I got stoned before I got on here.
And we're next.
I'm trying to work on debating people
on the reservation, and guess what? It worked. The members of the Navajo reservation are now convinced that they need these medical checkpoints, and they're even coming out. These fake leaders are coming out blaming Trump for not attending to the fact that the worst outbreak has been on the Native. No, it hasn't, and it coincides with the once-a-year plague case in northern New Mexico. Watch, every year there's one case of a mouse having plague in northern New Mexico on an Indian reservation. Every stinking year for the past 15 years. So when their fall flu fear panic porn doesn't work, then we pop up with first case of plague.
I used to see that shoot up once in a while. I'm like, oh, I wonder what they're doing with that. Every time I see that come up, I always like, I wonder what that's about.
That's what it's about.
In your back of your mind, like, I noticed that.
And it's always
see a dot later.
The Native American reservation where they find this mouse.
They always go after the most how do you say, the most impoverished. They always target them first. That's why they're in Africa right now. They always pick those there, India, they go in there. Because we're fighting back up here because we're able to, we got this level. Not that everybody's at this level, but we managed to get at this level. But there are people across, to be fair, there are people, because we talk to other people, there's people all over the world. And by us, I say it's great that I have people all over the world on my news feed. You know, and they're asking questions. They might be from Pakistan. What's this question? I'm like, this is what's going on. It's a global lockdown. You know, like you tell them.
They
We're
love us too.
light workers. We got to light, you know, they can drop some knowledge and pack. Great.
They love it, and they're spreading it and they're sharing it. I was even sharing. I was talking about circumcision earlier. Why Muslims do it because the Jews do it. That's why they do it. They circumcise their baby boys because the Jews do it. Okay, now I thought y'all were enemies. I thought y'all hated each other, the Jews and the Muslims. I found out the reason the Muslims circumcise their baby boys is because the Jews do it. Now, does that make sense?
What does it all stem from? Like, I mean, aren't they based on like when you go back? Is that considered an Abraham? I don't even know, to be honest.
No, it's all lies. Like I was saying earlier, might have been something to some bush said somebody a burning bush might have said put a little nick in the end of your private parts so that only God knows that you're a Jew. It wasn't about removing an organ, I can tell you that much.
Oh my God, that's crazy when you think about it. We've been doing this all for the wrong reasons all these years. My friend had enough privilege. She didn't circumcise.
The Jews is the one that wants the entire organ removed.
That's a ritual.
Jews is the
Circumcision's a ritual.
Sucking on the baby's boy's penis.
Oh God.
So it's not about what it started out to be at all, if it even started out to be anything. But my point is, the Jews and the Muslims hate each other, but yet they cut baby penis because the other one cuts baby penis. You'd think you would do the opposite.
They sell it for eye makeup. But that's even more disgusting. They sell it for eye makeup, or like whatever to make your skin not puffy or something.
Well, your pediatrician gets about $1,100 to make his boat payment with your child's sex organ, and then Oprah gets a facial. Yeah, a very expensive one. It's not cheap before skin facial. Don't kid yourself.
It made me think right away to abortions. And I think that's what's important for people to know too, that if you had an abortion, you know, we know now that it's eugenics. We know now that it's targeted in the Black community. I don't like we're not supposed to use the colors. I don't know what bleak, we call them bleak, Gerard? Bleak? You lose in the bleak community. But it reminded me also, like, you know, what I did with circumcision, you know? But I know one's a life one, but what's a ritual? That's what I was saying. But I think the same thing, not like to be able to forgive yourself. I would have had an abortion in my 20s. I didn't wind up having to, but I would have had one up into my 30s until I was a liberal. So I was like, it's a right, you know, it's their body, their choice, my body. I was angry about it.
And there's something to it. I mean, it's hard to imagine that, you know, you wouldn't, if you especially the abuse that I've seen of children, you know, in some respect, there was a part of my psyche at one point in time that thought they're better off exiting to come back in at 8 weeks, or because I always thought they only did it up to a certain point. This 22-week thing is bizarre, and at the same time, they are stimulating labor to have early births.
Yes.
I don't think they aren't. They give you your flu shot. They know damn well you're going to be in the ER that weekend with contractions.
Hey, Holly.
They're going to take your 26-week-old fetus, and they're going to experiment on him in a glass box.
Hey, Holly, can I jump in real quick? Just because getting serious and just serious, I get a little stupid. I just want to say, Angela Wellborn, come on in, girl. We got people here. You can take my spot, talk. I'm not going nowhere. She wanted to come in earlier. Check your messenger, click the link, come on in. Or if somebody else does, we'll do a queue. And I'm in bed with two women right now, and Holly's sitting in the chair. I just wanted to say that, so I'm out.
It's getting
that is funny. That is funny, Gerard. I didn't think of that, Gerard.
It's intimacy beyond what we understand intimacy as. You know, that's we all got to take it up a notch with our impressions of what this all is. You know.
I'm not even sure if I'm on.
You are. I hear you.
Okay. I see you.
I just finished homeschooling and I've been listening all day, and all of you women are so freaking amazing. I love hearing all of you talk. this is outstanding what Gerard is doing.
Isn't
I've
it?
been
We love
really
Gerard.
I've been listening to Gerard for quite a long time. I think Debbie was the one that sent me Gerard's way. I can't pronounce her last name. Her name was Debbie. But he's just amazing. And I've been listening to you guys, and I think you're amazing too.
Thank
You
you.
are.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I am so glad to have come across you all. I love hearing stories, and I don't. The woman on the top left was kidnapped.
Tiana, I don't know where she went.
Holly,
Oh yeah, I'm down here at the bottom. Can you not see me?
Miss Holly.
I
Oh,
can't
can
see
you guys hear
everybody.
me?
That's why.
I kind of understand when I hear you speak of how you feel. It kind of makes me think of myself. When you're in fear of being killed or because you've been hurt and traumatized, it keeps you from living your life because you feel that way. I've kind of learned to stop doing that. I quit worrying so much because you're not living worrying.
Right.
And fear, in my opinion, fear is the best defense we have. It protects us from physical pain. In my path of what I've been through, I have come to appreciate fear because of the sting and when you're really being physically hurt, fear protects you from that pain. So I'm not scared of fear. I'm not. But I am scared of our government. I learned at a very young age that our judicial system, I can't pronounce some things right, are very dangerous. I was hurt as a kid by my stepfather. I lived with him for 2 years. He hid behind a Bible. He tortured me. Literally, it was torture. Sulfur, the water, the smell of sulfur, that triggers me. Now, because I was smothered with wet things with sulfur water, and I'd lose conscious, He sodomized. He did a lot. And then I learned how to get myself stronger. And I ultimately made sure the man wouldn't walk, so I thought. But I ended up in court. I'm the one that ended up in court on a wrongful injury case because I made him swallow a lid from a Pepsi bottle that he was trying to insert in me, right? And then I tried because I was scared. I kicked him in the throat. I was very scared.
How old were you? How old were you at this time?
I was 8.5, almost 9. I was with him
You're an
from the time I was 6.5. Sodomized me, smothered me. He would make me stand nude in front of a doorway for days. And he was a psychopath. There was nothing there. I know when I see a psychopath now. I don't know. It just something resonates in me. The third eye, Todd Church was just talking about it. I know when I see somebody that is like him. Now, because of the path I've walked.
I see. If I'm in the mall and someone walks up, I can see. Sometimes I'll have to leave the mall. Like I remember, I walked in and I saw someone in their energy just I just froze and I just left. Like, get at it, let's go. I'm sorry.
You feel it, and then in addition to that, I think we do speak to one another without even opening our
I
mouths.
agree.
I see it. I can't help it. I've been there, so I know. And I know where you're coming from about being scared. But I'm telling you, back in the 70s, I was terrified because of what I did. Defending myself. I do believe he said that was my lucky day. And it was a soda lid. And I had a mental plan, and I just did it when I had an opportunity. I took care of his throat. He couldn't get up. I wanted him to swallow it. He wasn't moving, you know. The last time I seen him was in my hospital. After being sodomized so much, I had to be sewn. Nothing done. Nothing. In addition to that, he ends up in the same hospital where I am from what I did to him. Yeah,
Where was your
that's the
mom around?
system.
Was your mom
And
around?
they charged an 8.5-year-old
My
with
mother is a
attempted bodily harm.
pharmaceutical addict and always has been. My mother, he literally gave her what she wanted. He was very manipulative because he had a Bible. So I have stigmas when it comes to religions. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I am a true believer in the earth we stand on, and it provides everything we need, and we do the same to it. But we're sitting here allowing these looters, our government, to destroy it in these corporations. I, I'm I'm so pissed when I see it. I can't even go into my grocery store. I can't. I people are moving around too fast because the energy and their vibes are really, I mean, off the charts. You can I can literally feel when I know something's going to happen. You always feel it when
Yes.
something's going to happen. You can feel it in the energy with the people around you. They're so scared to even be in a store, even though they're masked.
Right.
Those kind of tensions are going to be very, very, I think they're dangerous.
Yes.
I can't help, I feel like I don't want my grandkids, I don't want to take any of them into a store anymore because of this. I just want to know, you know, I got three very intelligent women, and I got Gerard, who is very intelligent. What would be our exit strategy without violence?
Oh, an exit strategy without violence?
Yeah, what would be our exit strategy to get this whole thing to stop?
We're not gonna beat them. We're not gonna beat them militarily. We can't beat them militarily right now. When you know
Right
that
now.
they're hundreds. They're like 100 years advanced than what they're telling us. And we like you know. Are you down those rabbit holes? You know that what they're telling us, like even like NASA, well, everything that comes out are like just what they want you to know, and it's a distraction. So
Yeah.
we don't know what they're doing really. I mean, we suspect some things, and they're not very nice. I'm
Well,
trying
I'm like everyone else. We're all just trying to figure out how to get through this. Um, I have multiple sclerosis. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis a few years back, and when I was diagnosed,
Get it.
the diagnosing doctor blamed my polio vaccine for this shit.
Here,
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
hiding.
Now I'm hearing
Epstein-Barr as well. MS, lupus, fibromyalgia. Most of it's
I can
related
do
to
podcast. I can separate from you people when I need to.
the polio. It was exceptionally toxic.
Yeah, I'm just worried about that too. I don't know what's going to happen if we're forced, and I do believe we will be forced. Or what else will they do if you don't? Well, you
No,
can't
I
leave your
think
home.
we'll volunteer.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we'll volunteer. We already do volunteer. I mean, I've never met anything more stubborn. I showed a young mother the other day a video of a seizuring child, that they were giving shots to this seizuring child, and working in this children's cancer center in Saudi Arabia. Signs all over the children's cancer ward walls. Make sure your child is fully vaccinated. They're vaccinating children that are undergoing uh, bone marrow transplants because they have no immune system, and they're vaccinating them. They already have a terminal diagnosis, and they're vaccinating them because they have a chance to sell a vaccine. Now you have to understand, Merck, Pfizer, and the pharmaceutical industries are in some big trouble. There's about 15 class action lawsuits right now that have about wiped them out. They also have warehouses of plastic rubber gloves and masks and ventilators all over Asia and all over our country. And some of these buildings have baby fingerprints in them and blood stains and things. Of course, they cleared out their warehouses full of rubber gloves and masks. Those things only last a certain amount of time. They had to clear it out, and it also helped cover all their class action lawsuits. So thank you, America, for bailing out Merck Pfizer so that they can come up with a brand new heavy metal laden vaccine for your kids. Carry on.
Yeah, that is true. I've been complaining too long. And I feel like nobody, is it because they're scared? You know,
no, they're vaccine damaged. They're vaccine damaged. The vaccines damage your frontal lobe. That is your kaleidoscope into reality. Your perception of reality is now altered because your frontal lobe is pitted with battery acid. The frontal lobe is like, you're not driving the bus if your frontal lobe isn't in place and intact.
Gland, right?
It needs to be intact.
Pineal gland?
Well, and then your pineal gland's right behind there too. So it's all, they're targeting this
and
area.
this whole taking temperatures when you go in to a place like that thermometer, like, what do you think that's going to do? Ain't it like an infrared what is it that reads our temperature?
No, they want to get you used to them coming up to you and shooting you in the forehead with a gun so that you don't run away when it happens.
So we have a little bit more left.
I'm like this. When we're born, we pretty much only have one guarantee, and that is death.
Yes.
And I'd be damned if I'm gonna let this shit stop me from living. We have been planting a lot of stuff trying to grow food. I think that's more important than anything right now. But
some people really get freaked out when I say this, but I think we're totally to blame for what's happened. Like, I don't even know that a government exists. We are the government. If you took your kids and, did all the things that they're telling you to do, if you actually go to work every day and earn $11 an hour and pay a third of it back to BLM, you may officially consider yourself part of the problem. If you drive a car that, is brand new instead of buying a used car, you can consider yourself part of the problem. You fed the liberal machine. If you are one of those parents that wasn't raising your kids and you let a public teacher do that instead.
Exactly.
You did this then. You're the one that let the libtard PhD who's never been in a classroom get up and dictate how we're going to teach our kids.
That's what I'm struggling with.
There's one way to teach reading. It's called phonics. If you're going to focus on learning the English spelling language, you got to start with phonics. There's no PhD in the world at UCLA that's going to tell you how to teach reading better than a teacher who's been in the classroom for 30 years teaching the sounds that the letters make. This is not rocket science. You don't sit in groups and tell each other that everybody's a winner and then everybody learns to read. You don't send them off down the hall for you're exceptionally smart. We've got you in the radar, so we'll send you down the hall so you don't get your mathematics or your grammar lesson, but you can make a ceramic duck.
Yeah,
because you're smarter than the rest of us.
They educate them just enough to go into the military.
We're gonna make sure you're all vaccinated, and then we're gonna take data on your behavior in school, and we're gonna follow you through adulthood. People place bets and they play the stock market on people's social birth certificate numbers. That as a group for entertainment, they target certain kids in neighborhoods and follow that kid's success or lack of success through their lives, and they bet on it.
Wow.
I don't have proof of that, but that's kind of what's coming up. Like anything I talk about, you don't have to necessarily consider that it's my platform, but I do share things that I hear and things that strike me a certain way. And yeah, if you're not involved in your kids' education, if you're not there bringing cupcakes and checking in, you can be sure that your kid's being inundated with fascist propaganda.
Yeah. Yeah. I've noticed that. I'm new to this whole public school thing with my granddaughter. I'm starting over again with a little one because of Big Pharma, I blame. But yeah, I've seen it in the schools. And I've gotten some teachers actually following me now. They're 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 basically federal employees. A lot of them didn't
They're
know
not
it.
teachers. They're not teachers.
Like
They're the NEA.
and
The
and
NEA is the National Education
and
Association. It's the
CPS.
teachers union, and they're
I'm
a
not
bunch of libtard
CPS.
fascists. I am not kidding you. They have one agenda, one, and it's
Goods
not
and
to
service.
quote unquote educate your child.
Yeah, it's basically goods and service. They teach you how to work and perform a service that is very, very important right now. Color coded emotions started last year. Um, Also, the health department last year. I, I mean, 4 visits from the health department. They were doing studies. And I'm
Yeah, they're doing
like, kind of,
studies.
I made sure that my little one, didn't go. Now, legally I can stop her from going finally, but
Hmm.
I try to teach her real, teach her how to grow, um, teach her how to spot shittery. Very smart little girl, and I think all of our children are very smart. And if we listen to them and do what they say, I think the world will be a hell of a better place. Um, I'm just I can't believe what I've seen though in the public schools the last 2 years I've been involved there. Now
It's unbelievable. I'm a master's degree teacher. I'm also a school administrator. Um, I wouldn't step foot into a public American school for any amount of money.
well, yeah, the walls, the metal fencing going around the schools. Now you got a buzz to get in. Right here at my neighborhood, just in April, all of the surveillance went up. I seen that. I'm a conspiracy theorist. You know, I seen it.
Certain
There's
schools are targeted. I know they're targeting schools and they're testing parents. How many times can we put your kid on lockdown where you don't have access to them before you? But these parents didn't do anything.
I've heard that
Oh
too.
God, thank God.
I know some parents that have their little ones in quarantine at home now, and that was scary for them. Yeah, this is this is getting to be a little out of hand, and I'm like, when are we going to actually face our fears? Because and and demand better, fight for our kids' future.
Oh, state health departments, Gerard, state health departments are Satan's vacation home. Our last governor, freaking Richardson, he was on Epstein's Island. He's a pig. Bill Richardson was the libtard governor we had for like 2 terms. Well,
Was he elected or
I don't
appointed?
even.
What, elected?
I don't know how they run this stuff. It's all. I wasn't even here. I was overseas for the past 30 years of fascism in my beloved state. So I came back and was landed right in the middle of it. I can't believe it myself. We are a Jade Helm state. Our governor was best friends with Bill Richardson. Bill Richardson was on Lolita Island. Okay. Bill Richardson assigned my governor right now to the health department 8 years ago. He pulled her out of the blue and made her the head of the New Mexico Department of Health. And now she's our fascist, controversial governor. So, they're all connected. They're all connected
Yes.
Yeah.
to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
Okay, and Zorro Ranch and child trafficking. There's a tunnel that
Yes,
goes from
there is.
Denver to freaking El Paso. My house is a half a mile from it.
Oh.
I took out the chief of police in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, for child trafficking.
Wait, do you remember the story with Truth or Consequence? That guy that kept sex slaves?
David Ray, yeah.
Yes.
He was involved with our chief of police in Truth or Consequences. There was an actual satanic situation there going on in Atlanta. Elephant Butte Lake is very involved. Some of the police officers. But yeah, David Ray was. I'm not real sure what's going on. I think it was just part of the trafficking. I think it was a cover.
Let me tell you this. This story is real. I'll post it later. It's a really good story. I'm obsessed with. I'm not anymore, but I used to be obsessed with serial killers and why I got involved in psychology because I wanted to understand what made someone a psychopath. And David Ray, yeah, he used his daughter actually to help abduct women, and they even abducted her friend. They met her at a bar, they hung out with her and they abducted her.
Yeah.
And they would they do the mind control. He'd keep you like all dark, and then he put on a tape and it'd warn you like, this is what I'm going to do to you. This is what I'm going to do to you, like to torture you. First.
Yeah, he would record audio recordings. Let me tell you this bit. It's hard for me to talk about. This might trigger me. When I was in Truth or Consequences, I was taken there by my parents as a senior in high school because that was the only teaching job they could get in New Mexico. They were relocating from Nebraska, so they applied online, and that's where they landed. So I was there. I worked for the police department as a dispatcher. There's a whole story behind it. It is the hub for the child trafficking in New Mexico, and I exposed it at 19, and I've been targeted ever since. But I worked as a dispatcher, and I exposed John Sawyer, chief of police of Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, in 1983. But months before that, I had quit the police department because he was. He was a pervert. He'd come in, I was 19, and I'd be dispatching. He'd come in and play porn in his office. So I was on to him, and I told my parents about him. That saved me. But at some point, we had it out, and I exposed, the fact that he was stalking me is all I did. And then these two 13-year-old girls came forward that had been abused by him. Well, overnight, the DA at the time, which, by the way, nobody in my state can tell me who the DA was in 1983. If anybody out there can tell me who the district attorney of Truth or Consequences was in 1983, I'd sure appreciate it, because no one in my state can tell me. Even in Santa Fe. Oh, I don't think we have those records. You mean what?
That's odd.
You don't know who the district attorney of Sierra County was in 1983? Okay, long story short, the DA ran John Sawyer out of town in the middle of the night after these allegations came forward. In the next 20 years, he would be convicted of 200 plus counts of child molestation and kidnapping, and he served time in the state penitentiary. Right now, John Sawyer lives in Clovis, New Mexico.
Wow.
So when I got back from Saudi, and these clowns in Alamogordo, which is about 2 hours, but we're closer to El Paso, when they started to fuck with me with their corruption, thinking I was just a crazy lady.
Yeah.
I know, familiar.
They didn't realize that this is who I am. I'm still trying to find out who the DA of Truth or Consequences is. So you just walked right into my
no newspaper, nothing in the newspaper about the DA? That's strange.
Well, this was in 1983, mind you. The DA went and
But a newspaper.
Police out of town because of these allegations. The chief of police went on to perpetrate and was later convicted 20 years later. So
how many did he abuse in that time?
200 plus counts were convicted. He was the chief of police.
Well, I'm not surprised.
How easy is that? I mean,
I'm not surprised of not being able to get information. I mean, seriously, these sick people.
Right, it's true.
Well, it's a huge operation. It's a huge operation. You're taking people's adrenochrome and baby baby farm away from them. This is serious business. They're going to fight. They're not going down easy. This is a very deeply established. Oh, getting back to David Ray. So I quit the police department and worked at the nursing home. There was a girl working at the nursing home, was one of the accomplices of David Ray. She took me to his trailer one day after work saying I need to get money from my brother. I sat in a chair in an empty living room in an 18 by 60 trashy trailer with all the doors closed up and down the halls. And I looked over and I saw the kitchen was not being used. The coffee maker was turned around. Lisa Lynch, which was the name of this lady, came back and was standing behind me at some point. And I don't know, my angels made me stand up and head for the door of the trailer, turn the knob and walk down the steps and say, I got to get home. My mom's looking for me.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
to this day, I don't remember if we were in my little Honda or if we went out there in her car, but I think it was her car. So I just got up and walked out and went to the car. And my assumption is that he was in there because I heard arguing and all the doors were closed. Now, what ended up being discovered is that he had women in all those bedrooms and he would take them out one at a time to the toy box.
Yeah, the toy box. That was it. He
And I
tortured the toy
suspect that
box.
he
Where
was
the
back there
hell
saying,
that is?
what in
Imagine
the
that.
hell are you doing bringing me a local girl? That's what I think they were arguing about.
And then some he killed. A lot of them he let out, but he definitely killed a few. I think once a year he would kill one, but the rest he would let out.
Well, it wasn't until 10 years
For our
later
last
that,
night.
that it came out that the girl supposedly escaped down the road. I think it's all lies. I think it was a cover for one of the biggest satanic cults in the country.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
This guy used to show he was the park ranger at the lake, David Ray.
Yes, yes.
He would show up at our high school because I was only there my senior year and we partied our asses off at the lake. That was what you do. And we'd be at the lake, late early morning hours out there camping. We'd have big campouts and boats and stuff. It was great. And he'd show up like 1 a.m. at our parties. I remember him roaming around, being real. He would just check on us, wouldn't send anybody home, wouldn't check to see who's drinking. Of course, we'd hide the beer, but he would just come and check on it. I don't know if he actually caught some of this or other people that were at the lake hanging out there. He mostly went for vagrant women, though, so I think that's why. But he was paying Lisa to get him victims.
Yes. What about his daughter, though? You know about his daughter, right?
Yeah.
He used his daughter.
There was a guy in
You
high school
coach him
that
in,
got
or
victims for her. Not Punky Potter. He was on the dive team. See, there's a dive team out at the lake that recovers bodies that drown.
Yeah.
It's a huge lake.
shit.
And the dam there is so big, they say catfish are the size of vans down there. Something weird's going on. I think it has to do with that.
I'm gonna look into that one now because David Ray, that one always fascinated me. Because the evil and just picturing yourself being locked in a toy room, and he's got his toys, and he fucks with your brain, and he puts, scares the crap out of you, and he tells you what he's going to do to you before he does it to you. I remember, I gotta play that because if people could hear because they have his messages, so what he would tape and play for them before they were going to be assaulted. It's terrifying.
It's a very,
I don't
very
know if I want to do
important
it today,
part
though. I
of
don't want to listen to that
program.
tonight. I'm trying to work on my vibe.
It's a very important part of the torture programming. It's like when the Simpsons tell us that
Yes,
it's going to happen before
programming.
they do it to us, and they
Yes.
make us laugh at it.
Yeah.
That's part of the mockery that generates the frequency they want. They cannot sacrifice somebody who's not willing.
Kind of desensitizes you to it.
Yeah, it's like the thermometer on your forehead. Come here.
Yeah.
Get used to that. In fact, smile and say, "Oh yeah, sure, go ahead." For the good of
Like the nurses,
Be safe.
like the nurses dancing with the masks.
Yeah.
It's all fun. It's all fun. Don't worry.
It's cute. Stay safe, y'all. Get your mask on. Do it for America.
I'm kind of bad though. When I walk by people, I'm going off topic again. When I walk by people, I'll just say to them, like I'll just say under my breath, "It's communism. Communism's coming." I'm like, it's global authoritarian lockdown. Like I'm like, the CDC's lying, right? I do that to them. CDC's lying, right?
I have a Saudi black thing. I have the whole Saudi garb, and so I wear my Saudi head covering when I go
Oh my
out.
God, my head hurts.
Yeah, it just shows my eyes. So nobody likes it though. They think that's really weird that I'm wearing a
I'm so
Saudi face
creative.
covering
Come
in
on.
America because I would have been arrested for wearing a Saudi face
Guys,
covering
I gotta
2 years
go.
ago.
I gotta go soon. I gotta take a walk with my daughter.
Okay,
What are you
honey, thank
saying?
you. Bye, sweetheart. Thank you for joining us.
I gotta get up and go for a walk. Mwah.
That
Bye,
sounds fun.
everyone.
Bye bye.
How do I get off here? Take care.
Oh, you guys, this is so awesome. If we still have a slot. We don't have a slot. Does anybody else want to jump on? I can jump off. I've blabbed enough.
I think Gerard's been on pretty much all day.
Okay.
That's not like a thing, though. That's not a thing. You know that brother can run his mouth. That's not a thing. He's enjoying watching other people.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm gonna let you go. I gotta start cooking dinner for the family.
Is that
And this was the first time. I've never been on live. I didn't. It took me a while. Thanks for the link, Gerard.
Thank
well,
you so
thank
much
you
for sharing your
for
story.
telling your story.
That
You
was very
ladies,
helpful to me. It really helped me to hear that somebody else has some of those levels of stress and anxiety that I've been talking about. And not that I'm glad, but it feels good to know that people understand and that other people can relate to what I'm saying.
yes,
We can do this
it is
together.
very important.
And I really appreciate
You're
your
not.
courage
You're,
and your strength, and bless your healing. And thank you for coming on. I really, really, really enjoyed meeting you.
you too.
There's more
Oh,
babies. Look at that little
hello.
me. That's a mini me, Tiana.
Is
little bit.
okay. Is this
Oh,
Tanya?
Yay! I just wanted to come back on and give my gratitude again. I get so much from these conversations. I freaking love it.
Hey, you are amazing. I'm gonna find you on this platform and send y'all some requests. You guys
Okay.
are completely amazing. And thanks, Gerard, for having them on today.
Yeah, these are fabulous. I love this idea. I love that he does this.
well, we're
This
definitely
is,
gathering. Yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
cathartic for me. I get so much from these.
I think
Really.
I'm like, we're all in it. We all have experiences, bad or good. It's just always refreshing to just try to remember the good. Keep talking about the bad until the sting is gone. As long as it don't hurt you here, it has no power. Being I know I know by experience. The more you talk about it, the more you get comfortable with it. It don't hold much weight.
Yeah.
It really don't.
It loses its power. Sure does.
I've learned my lesson. I'm very quiet. I've learned to keep my mouth shut, and I think that was a blessing. Just listening and keeping my mouth shut. I learned very young, and just to be positive and no more
I've yet to
guilting.
learn that lesson. I never shut up.
I'm glad you're talking now. I'm glad you're not keeping your mouth shut anymore. I
Yeah,
appreciate
you
it.
can't. You just can't. I'm telling you, it makes you worse. Um, it whatever happened to you, whatever has happened, don't have you. You have it. You take control of it, and the more and more you talk about it, the better it is. I I
Well,
am a firm
that's
believer.
why I love that we began having public discussions about this pedophilia. This is something that's gone on for generations that nobody talks about. I think it's very,
I just
very healthy to
I
have these conversations about
I
their
hear
happening.
all this. I hear all this positive information about the pet childhood rape is down. I think it's more silenced than down. Um,
Yeah, maybe.
and nobody talks about it. And it's bad. We've got to join forces and unite against it and listen to the people that are really out to help us. And there is a lot of people out there that is willing to help unite against it. I've met many here in Florida, and they're no little wimps. We've been, it's getting so bad down here that I don't know how we can get around not saying CPS has something to do with it.
We can't.
And
That's irrefutable.
that would be almost impossible to get around. And I just wonder how they're going to get around it.
How are
I
they
mean,
going to
too
explain
many people are
themselves?
already.
Exactly. Well, they're not. They're just going to disappear. They're. It's like the Federal Reserve. They shouldn't have been here in the first place.
Yes.
The Child Protective Services. Are you kidding me?
They're not going to disappear. They're just going to evolve. They'll just
Exactly.
change the name and they don't disappear.
Right.
Like,
They
what
evolve
is
and
their
they get worse.
reset? I've been hearing some stories about defunding them and all this, but I think there's always something else that we just don't know about. You know, I think they're going to make their shittery even better. You know, it's just protect your kids, teach them how to grow food.
Online
yourself.
teaching is kind of happening right now.
So we just
I would like to see the whole public school system just dissolve.
leave roll
And do online education with online teachers and develop our own school system online right now. Lots of
Well, the
great
problem is stopping the pedos from hacking the classes.
Yeah, exactly.
to get some tape.
Not only that, but the curriculum they want to introduce online is fucking appalling.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Devoid of the present system, start our own, and it would be a completely different curriculum. I don't believe anything in history. I get really criticized for this when I say things like this. That I think the main story behind Africa was gold, and that there were majorly to majorly melanated people already on this continent when we got here, and that the whole African story about it being bigger than it is and the boats and all the rest was about the gold that developed the royal family that's now in control of Northern America and Europe.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with slavery, and I get very criticized about that. How dare you deny? Well, I do. I deny all of it. Yeah, there was slavery, all right. There's still slavery. There's some serious issues. There were serious. I mean, I believe the story of the little black boy that was put in the electric chair for raping a woman at age 10 in fucking Louisiana. I believe that. But the whole story of the whole African story doesn't make sense to me. And to me, it just further disempowers the psyche of humanity because there's more to it than that. They didn't just snag people and put them on a boat. I don't think there's more to it. It's worse than that. The whole Africa piece was about gold, period.
Well,
Yeah, I think it still is.
I had to jump on. Somebody called for the brother. Brothers had to show up. I agree with you. I mean, it has nothing to do with skin. I mean, the modern narrative is about keeping people fighting, right? So they have people fighting something emotional called racism. Right? If you can fight some emotion that comes out of poverty that's taught, you don't ever have to stop. You don't ever have to fix anything because you send people on a wild goose chase. When you speak like when you speak to economics, then you actually have a problem that you can solve. You actually have something tangible that you can go after. And slavery had nothing to do with race. It 100% had to do with gold, right? Gold in Africa and the gold key. It was interesting I was listening to a talk last night. It's funny you mentioned that. He was talking about how the Africans were already here with the Mayans. They had the story of certain tribes that were sent here on boats, transcontinental, and they were living here. And that the Celts were here also. The Celts had needs that they documented well. In the Warriors Temple, they found paintings of the wars they were fighting, like the Celts,
Yeah.
the Africans, and the Mayans. History was covered up. It was all about gold.
Well, it's written to disempower us further than the story that they told us disempowered us, even. You know, the whole thing is cycle after cycle of disempowerment up to today, that you're being, you know, shamed in public for not putting your fist up for Baal, Lucifer, and Moloch. Because it's not Black Lives Matter. There's no, because nothing matters to this energy at all. And so we're still there. We're
that
still
was
at
a wake up. Wow.
Huh?
That was
I've
a wake
noticed
up. Wow.
that I've noticed a lot of them doing that. Seems to be like 30 or younger.
Oh yeah.
They're
it's
angry.
Cool. It's really cool. I've had my own kids tell me it's really cool to be, you know, Black Lives Matter. My kids were all over it for a week. Had it written on the walls.
Freaking everywhere. It's everywhere. Yeah.
And I had to sit them down and say, look, let's talk a little bit about, you know, my daughter was conceived on the Hopi Reservation. I was walking in the desert with my child on my backpack one day when a Finnish and I think he was Austrian, two German guys came walking up to me. It was we were out in the desert, so for a while I was like, whoa. And then I could see they had some, you know, expensive hiking gear on. They looked, you know, I could probably kick their ass. They were little. So we kind of finally met up, and they're like, I said, what are you doing? They said, we just flew in. We're here to help Roberta Blackgoat on the Hopi Reservation, who's being terrorized by local sheriffs and the Bureau of Land Management and Peabody Coal Mines. She's a 98-year-old Hopi woman, and she's up there standing ground on the last of the Hopi Reservation. That she doesn't want it sold off for, you know, a mobile home, and she's having to fight them off. And we heard about her. Don't you guys know what's going on the Hopi Reservation? So we started talking, and I put him in touch with some people in Albuquerque. And at the end of the day, we had a front page Albuquerque Journal article about Roberta Blackgoat and her fight against the local sheriffs, Bureau of Land Management, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, who were shooting her goats in front of her to intimidate her into selling off her last of her Hopi land to Peabody Coal Mines.
Motherfuckers. Wow.
That's what BLM is, folks.
Yeah.
And we're going to be on a reservation real quick here. Our Native American friends are so damaged from living in this situation for the past whenever the smallpox blankets were sent through on the trains. It hasn't even been 100 years.
Those are not reservations. Those are concentration camps. Let's call them what they are.
Years.
Wow.
That's vaccine damage. That's short-term memory. That's long-term memory. That's ability to fucking perceive your reality appropriately. We're damaged.
Yeah.
We're severely damaged. We're broken machines.
Man.
And the truth is, there's not a whole lot we can do at this point except grieve and make sure that your child doesn't end up with his frontal lobe damage like you do. That's it. Because I'm not sure we have the capacity to gather anymore. Our couches are too comfortable. Our asses are too fat on corn syrup, and our TVs are too big. I'm sorry. Our TVs are almost as big as our asses. Mm-hmm. We just learned how to wash our bums with soap and water, hippies. We just learned that. The empty aisles, the empty roll toilet paper taught us all to go home and wash our bummies with soap and water. Use a square of old t-shirt to dry it off. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There you go.
I know the whole toilet paper thing. I questioned
y'all convinced me with I'm still upset about how y'all behaved over toilet paper. I will never get over it. I'll never trust humanity
honestly,
again.
I don't think what we perceived it to be, what we believe it to be, it wasn't. People wasn't buying up toilet paper. I have 4 different local markets around me for at least 6 months before this shutdown was only getting half of their inventory they were ordering.
Yeah, see, they did that on purpose.
So it was ahead of schedule.
Yep.
Nobody has money. And when you see that they were showing videos of people buying up bukus of toilet paper coming out of the store and stuff, I'm not buying into that BS. I'm not. That no. These people have I'd say at
Oh,
Hmm.
right, you know, people have made a bunch of people have this for their inventory for months. Even hand sanitizers. And in the month of November, no vitamin C. Uh, eucalyptus is good. Where's eucalyptus? Well, hell, it burned down this year. It's been burning down, you know, with what happened in Australia. It's like, when do people realize this is not all just coincidences? You know, I don't think
well,
they
I
will.
think we are. We're realizing it now, and us talking like this. You know, the whole toilet paper thing was like the Tide Pod challenge. I don't think the public, most of the public, didn't take it any more serious than they took the Tide Pod challenge. But my problem was that people obviously did not understand there's a way to keep their ass clean without toilet paper. That's what scared me to death. It's like, are y'all walking around with nasty, stinky butts? Like, I didn't know.
Well,
I didn't know until then.
I
It was
know.
shocking to me.
I'm a worry wart. I am a worry wart, but I would not put toilet paper near my nose right now. I wouldn't do it. No. It exacerbates your nasal pass. It irritates you, and then you know, it gets in there, and then you start to cough. And how many people do I know who has literally had anxiety attacks over this since this whole thing happened? I know people personally who has lied and said they had it and they never did.
For
It's like,
extension.
what the freak is wrong with people? You shouldn't do that. You just can't. It's time to be real. Stop this shit, you know? It is bad. But no, nobody was buying up toilet paper. If 4 stores in 2 different counties tell me that they were only getting half of the amount that they were ordering, that would be the logical reason. You know, they wasn't restocking them at all. So I don't think nobody had money for all that toilet paper. That's just.
It was
And you
just
got
another form of
waterhouse.
psychological abuse. That's
Yeah.
all it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Toilet paper? Are you freaking kidding me? What? And Jesus Christ, I couldn't
Have you ever
believe
put
it.
tinfoil on your dog's feet just to watch him dance around the kitchen and laugh your ass off?
No.
That's what they're doing. That's exactly
I
what this
put a
is.
tinfoil hat
Oh,
We
on.
got
no, I haven't.
tinfoil on our fucking
I
feet.
haven't either, but because mine would never
I
let
put
me
a
do it.
tinfoil hat on and a mask and walk into the grocery store.
They want to see what our reaction is. They want to see what our public universal conscious reactions are.
They're laughing at us. Exactly.
They want to know how we respond when they tell us to put a mask on and go buy toilet paper. And see, it's like Simon Says. It's like musical chairs. Ready, go. And they want to see what our group reaction is, so that they know what they're doing. They want to know what happens when they walk up to everybody and point something at the middle of their forehead.
Not only that, but how entertaining must all this be for these sick, psychotic people to watch a whole globe of people run around in a panic over fuck nothing. They've got to be sit back and just freaking cracking up. This is just one giant entertainment shit show for these nut jobs.
Well, have you ever been to a cow slaughtering facility where they slaughter cattle 24/7? They don't laugh at the cattle. Well, they do. Some of the Joe Bobs that are in there, the inbred that are working in the packing plant for the wrong reasons, they might laugh when they cut a cow's throat. But in general, they don't really think badly about the cows. They just slaughter them. They just torture them. They murder them. They pack them up and send them off. They don't really like stand there and say, "Hoo, hoo, ha, ha, ha."
Oh no, I
We
fully
just
believe
fucked
they're
up
sitting
this
back
house.
going, ha ha ha.
They don't really think that way. They like I describe it as mockery sometimes. It's not literally like Mr. Burns. It's not the real Mr. Burns. It's not really Mr. Burns. It's just the guy that owns the
Yeah.
slaughter packing plant. It's just the guy that owns the slaughter plant. It's not really Mr. Burns. They're not laughing at us. They're just making sure that we continue to send ourselves through the chute. That's all they're
Yeah.
committed to.
Yeah.
So and I kind of get back to this sometimes when we start talking about, you know, who are they? Who are we? Who are we fighting against? Who am I? Who do I hate right now? Who am I full of rage towards? Because I'm full of rage towards somebody. That's all I know at times. I hate something at times. I don't know if it's my government or what, but what is it? Is it Joe Mack that's pulling the testicles off the baby pigs? Is it Mr. Burns that owns the slaughter plant? Is it the president? Is it the Democratic congressmen that are selling babies?
It's
Who am I mad
everybody
at?
that participates in the fucking madness.
Yes, it's whoever participates in the daily 24/7 satanic ritual. And it's hard to identify it because it doesn't look like a satanic ritual. There's no black robes. There's just some little bitty baby testicles being torn off by Joe
Well,
Mack.
that's not true, because if you pay attention, they flaunt their black robes and their rituals right in front of your face
Oh yeah, I'm
and
not
make
talking
it
about
look
them.
like,
I'm
oh,
talking
it's
about
just
us. I mean, we're
entertainment.
performing the
Yeah.
rituals
Yeah.
that
Oh yeah.
vaccinating your child is a satanic ritual.
Yeah.
Especially now, because they know that you know that there's suspicion about the vaccines being dangerous, so they know that you know there's a chance you're turning your child over to be permanently damaged. So it's a satanic ritual.
And
All
what
of it
about
is.
this one?
Because it ends in permanent
Have
damage,
y'all ever
intentionally inflicted.
heard about when children are born that they have to stamp their feet on a piece of paper real fast, like before the child is even
Out of the womb. His head can still be in, or your feet can still be in there. And well, I guess they couldn't stamp his feet, but yeah, as soon as they're out, they wipe the blood off, or it shouldn't be blood. Don't get me started on the birth process, but yeah, wipe his foot so that, because many cultures want to take that baby outside immediately and put his feet in the dirt.
on the soil. Yeah.
The connection that happens, you can imagine, you got to do some connecting when you come out of somebody's body. You've never breathed oxygen before. Talk about ritual. There's got to be some ritual involved. And so, yeah, they make sure that baby's feet is inked up, that connection's broken, the light and the sound that's emitting from his meridians out the bottom of his little feet gets stopped as soon as possible. And then right after the foot, they usually take them for their circumcision. So they accomplish everything they need to do to us within the first few days of our lives in terms of establishing that trauma protocol infrastructure.
Yeah. My firstborn was in 85. My last one was in 91, and I realized in 91 that it was a lot different. Like, they didn't recommend giving the first breast milk, and I'm like, that first breast milk is very important. All of my kids had my first 24 hours of breast milk. It literally is a vaccine, and it helps them until they're in their 40s. And they're trying to say, no. And
well,
then
it's stem cells, and
placenta.
it's full of stem
They
cells
take
and
the placenta.
GABA-cannabinoid terpenes. Your child actually receives a set of GABA-cannabinoid terpenes for his life.
Yeah. Well, I just think that breast milk was very important. I was quite shocked. That was in 91. I think it was in 91. I realized, boy, we got something going on.
That's what's in breast milk right there. And your baby, and your baby have specific patterns of GABA-cannabinoid terpenes. And it establishes the entire immune system, and it stimulates the stem cells.
Yes.
This is in breast milk. Breast milk's full of CBD.
Yes. So, I felt like when I was told that, it wasn't important and they tried to keep her from me, I'm like, no. she's getting the first 24 hours.
Good for
And
you.
then they really were pushing that baby bottle.
Oh, they're
And,
bullies.
oh yeah.
They're terrorist bullies.
Oh yeah. I know. But and then they can't help it though. Most of them are just doing their job for a
Absolutely.
paycheck. So
No,
you
don't get me
kind of got to
wrong.
keep
I
your
hate
cool.
hearing that.
Nurses are
You
some of
got
my
to play
favorite people.
stupid,
Yeah.
but know what's really happening. That's what I've learned to do well. But
That's got to
You
be the most
know,
ignorant comment on earth, though. I'm just doing my job.
yes,
Makes me want to throat punch him every time. Fuck.
well,
Sorry.
I mean, they're trained. They're trained.
I
They're
don't think I
programmed
would
too.
ever
But
be able to do that.
there's some brave nurses out there that have stepped forward. There are brave nurses out there that started whole nursing organizations saying we will not amputate baby penis for the fucking brotherhood. You know, we won't.
Good for them.
The
Really.
good old boys of the Oxford basements, the founders of the American Medical Association, the weird science wizards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how did we? Can we? Somebody answer. How did we? Gates.
How do we what?
How did we? Bill Gates with no medical license.
No medical license. Yeah.
They're put in
Microsoft
place. They're
team.
put in place. There's an operation in there's an operation ongoing. They're put like Bill Richardson placed our governor as head of the health department 5 years ago. She's no doctor. She's no nurse. She had no
Wow.
business being part of our New Mexico health department. I just found this out 3 days ago, and I'm on this shit. Like, I'm on it because I'm the one that had the chief of police and Truth or Consequences, which is our hub of child trafficking from probably Minnesota all the way down to El Paso, which is on the border, which is the wall we're talking about. There's a wall going up, all right. It's not to keep hardworking Mexican people from coming over here and cleaning our yards. I'll tell you that. That's not what it
I
has
know
to do
that
with.
wall works both ways. I've been saying, yeah.
Yeah,
And
well,
starting
it's brilliant.
businesses. Hardworking Mexican families that started my Lowe's signature hometown supermarket where they're not requiring masks. Okay,
Wow.
these are established family businesses here in New Mexico. They came from Mexico. This is not the issue we're talking about. There's not loads of illegals flooding our borders, folks. I live here.
I know. Yeah.
You know,
Even if they were, this is their property.
I
They
know.
were
Our
here way
children
before
being
anybody.
on
Yeah.
the daily.
yeah, sorry about that. I was on mute. I was trying to say something, but Brother Robert got me. I do that. I do a lot of mute talking. No, Tiana, you were asking how did Bill Gates get to where he is? Was that?
Well, I get it. His money. It's his money that did it. But how did we give him so much authority?
Well,
Just because he has money, his body's way into. I'm just befuddled by that whole concept.
Well, so what blew me away was that he is now the #1 funder of the World Health Organization, right? America was #1. They backed out of it, which put us in Gavi, which is why it was no win, because Bill Gates actually started the Gavi Alliance. But he's the #1 funder of the World Health Organization. So he already was at the top. And so if there is a problem going on, the World Health Organization is going to send their funder, like we talked about Rockefeller medicine. It's all cronyism, right? If you have the money, it's not just about money, it's about money and influence. And you're in the right spot, you will dictate whatever you want. But that, to me, Tiana, like, it's a great thing, like what's happening in Holly State, because when it's so obvious that they can't fight it, it's so obvious, even the average person who believes in the system has to stop and pause and say, this isn't right. How in the hell has Bill Gates got videos all over the internet talking about treating patients? The frontline doctors get all their videos deleted, and their doctors, and they treated between them hundreds of patients. It makes it so obvious. That's why it's a good thing we're in the apocalypse. It truly is revealing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. WHO. Trump went after him right out the gate with this COVID thing. I mean, yeah, he feeds all the little African children. Yeah, while he's harvesting melatonin and their genes and their DNA and doing experiments on it and using baby farming, basically. Yeah, he's over there all right with the starving African kids.
Well,
But that's
and they
how he got in place.
don't even lie about it. And that's another thing that you know, I was talking when Melissa Oso was here about Black Lives Matter. Like where are they on Africa? Right? You got Melinda Gates on TV saying, "Oh, well, we need to start with the African, the black people first. We're going to get them tested." And that's what they've been doing in Africa since the beginning. You have people, there's a lady who has a channel on YouTube where they're just basically they're running to towns to catch him anywhere that people show up to do testing on people over there. So they already know who he is. They already know what she's up to. They've said it on TV. And what is it? The 400,000 Indian kids who were maimed by the last run of vaccinations that they did over there.
Yeah, they were also very melanated. They would be considered black.
Yeah. Well, so there's an issue.
You know, we seem to know our colors over here. It's like that whole black and white. I don't say black and white anymore. That's like the core of the program and has been black and white. What are you talking about? That right there establishes our duality that's not going to go anywhere.
There is a big issue with him wanting to be in third world nations that have people of brown skin for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I'm just offering it up. You know, me personally, y'all know I don't care nothing about this nonsense. But if you're going to be Black Lives Matter and you want to go out and make Black Lives Matter, then maybe you should look at the people who are trying to do another Tuskegee experiment on all the black people in your country and the brown people in India and the brown people in Africa. They need help. They need big time help, you know. So, you know, but once again, we know that at the top, that organization isn't who they say they are. They don't believe in what they say they do. They're a political organization. They're trying to get votes to keep black people exactly where they are and white people exactly where they are. Divide up everyone and keep them all together. But I'm glad they're upset, though. I'm going to say that and pull it back. I'm glad they're upset. I'm glad they're upset. When people are upset, some change can come, but people have to link the dots together. You can't trust the top of any movement. You have to link the dots together and realize.
It makes me so sad how much it takes for people to connect those damn dots. Why is it so hard for people? This is so frustrating. How much more conversation needs to happen before you're finally able to connect these damn dots?
Well, I think we are a mental illness manufacturing hurt locker, right? We don't have a society. We are a hurt locker. We beat people down, if not through abuse. You know, we've got this NSA, and here in your story, Tiana, and your story, Angela, you know, we have a deep state for that. Like we have acronym agencies that hear everything, they see everything, they know everything, they have the resources, they could protect children, they choose not to. Right? So we literally put people in the most abusive situations, whether it's in a trailer park or a ghetto or a barrio. And so you raise people who are really angry, right? And they got that anger. They don't know where to let it out. So they're in the street burning down things. And this is why, you know, I try to be very specific with when I chastise BLM. It has nothing to do with the passionate poor people on the bottom. It has everything to do with the powerful, wealthy people at the top who want to keep black people and white people exactly where they are because they are a part of the system, right? If you're going to fight the power, you don't go to the power, you fight the power.
We are aware these people have addresses, right? I feel like nobody knows that.
Which people? Well, yeah, but they think they're on the same side. Like you have a lot of people who think Bill Gates is coming to help. You have a lot of people who think Fauci wants it. You have people who still think big pharma isn't behind all of the pandemics and plagues of our day, the big ones and the small ones. You know, so I think they all have addresses, but you know, the BLM and WLM and Blue LM, if they had half a clue, they'd be protesting in front of the banks. And that's why I played that video earlier today where he linked everything together and showed you that, you know, everyone's in the street and they're upset, but you have no idea that you're upset at the wrong people. Until you get upset at these international.
And they don't want to hear it. That's the frustrating part.
My chicken, Tiana. This is my chicken, Tiana.
I I think that they want to hear it. I think they already know it, and they're just scared and don't know what to do.
That's why
That's
we're
what I.
here, right? That's why we're here, and we try to keep the door open. You know,
Yeah.
it's just you're not. You know, they're not stupid people. They're
Yeah.
angry people, and they're ignorant. And ignorant is not bad. We're all ignorant of something. We just have to be willing to learn and then modify our behavior if we really believe the things that we say we believe in and we're passionate about. So I think all we can do, which is what I try to do, Angela, and thank you for the kind words earlier. I do. I in Holly, I try, and Tiana, I try. People say kind stuff to me. I don't think y'all know I'm a criminal. I tried to leave a door open to people because there were people before me that left doors open to me. Right? There were times where I was angry and I thought I knew what I was doing, but my friends stuck with me. They kept the door
Stop
open.
eating farm chickens.
What's that?
Stop eating farm chickens.
Stop eating farm chickens. And if
Tiana
you're
says stop eating.
protesting, like if you're protesting, when you really get upset enough, when you're really angry enough, when you're really passionate enough that you got a problem with this system, you'll start planting seeds. You'll get yourself a chicken. You'll get some land, and you'll realize that the system only cares if you stop believing it. It only cares if you want to walk away. As long as you're out there fighting and burning down cities, these banks love you. As long as you're out there fighting and burning down, fighting with police, the system, the power embraces it. Right? As long as you're raging against the machine, it means you believe in the machine.
Yes.
The minute
Yeah, thank you.
protesters walk away from their belief in this machine, that's when it's going to get real. That's when it's going to get real.
Yeah.
But they got to get angry enough. They're
I'm
not
with-
angry enough.
I want to see it. We got to see it, and soon. It's got to happen.
Oh, it's coming. Sister, we are in great days. It is coming because it takes a tragedy to bring a family together. And America has it. America has it. America just hadn't seen enough pain yet. When it feels enough pain, that family's going to come together. Just wait for it. Like the left is in the street already, and the right's about to get in the street now, right? Because the right is upset. They've looted their businesses, not BLM, but these bankers, right? The shutdown. They've destroyed their income. They've destroyed family businesses that are 200 years old. These people are upset. They're about to get in the street, and if they compare notes, you're going to see some beautiful things. You're going to see changes overnight.
Yeah.
You're going to see changes overnight.
Yeah,
I hope so. I just really do. I worry about the future for my grandkids now. All I can do is teach them the best I can.
Well, they're going to have it. They're going to have it because I'm happy that this fight came in our time. And I don't care what the fight brings. I'm hoping that enough people wake up so we can just walk away and stop believing in the system. But if not, and they bring a fight, I'm ready for the fight too. But either way, I'm glad, Angela, that we get to pay the price. But the next generation is going to be free. The only question is, are they going to be free with automated growth systems and a beautiful, easy life? Or are they going to be free on land, redoing things and learning how to grow food and build farms again? Either way, I'm fine with it. As long as the next generation is free, as long as these kids see the freedom that we do, I'm good with however we get there. Peacefully walking away or whatever they bring. But I'm not a violent person. I don't hope.
Yeah, the violence is scary, but.
Well, I like to say I'm not a violent person, but I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Because you're a thug. That's why Tiana don't care. You gotta get that thug, get the swinger. I got some payback, man. Come on and bring it. And hey, that has a time and a place. That has a time and a place. It's good to be a peaceful person, but you are a fool if someone brings violence to your house and you lay down. There's a time and a place for that. And that time and that place is not today. These people are playing for keeps. They want the world and they will take it all, but that's
Can we just give a little bit of credit to how fucking diabolical that is?
Oh,
that's some serious genius right there. Motherfuckers, just wow.
I love
Take a
it. I mean,
moment. Can we have a moment of silence for the diabolicalness of it all?
The
oh,
ballsiness. You got to have the balls the size of Texas to pull some shit off like that.
I mean,
Really?
think
Look at that.
about it. They didn't try to take a state, Tiana. They tried to take the damn world.
The
They
whole
didn't try to
world.
take a nation. They're not
The
trying to
whole
take a
thing.
continent. They decided, you know what? I'm taking the whole damn thing, and they took the whole bite.
That's some balls right there. It's
That you and
They
they got a
hijacked,
great plan.
hijacked our
And guess what? And they got the people handing it to them. Like, here you go. Here you
Yeah.
want the planet. Here, wait, let me get you some trees. I'm gonna get you all the
Right.
animals and everything. Here you go. You know, like they literally have people salivating, watching TV. Can't wait to give them the rest. Are you waiting? No, wait. No, y'all forgot Africa. Don't go nowhere. You got North America. We're gonna give you Africa too. And here goes Australia. And it's just like,
Have you heard the New World Order song? They have a whole song.
they should have an album.
A little ditty? A little ditty?
The World Health Organization shared it.
That is hilarious. Ooh, good. Is it online?
Yes.
Story.
Oh,
Lovely.
They
how's
talk
it go?
about open borders, New World Orders,
Oh, I gotta. Is
behind
it on YouTube?
doors.
Oh, I gotta find that.
Yeah.
It's shocking. They have children in it. Children singing happily. It's shocking.
Is it possible that there's a New World Order agenda that's positive and a New World Order agenda that's negative?
Lord have mercy, they do got New World Order, son, 2020.
And you listen to the children.
It's shocking.
And look like they're kind of not where they want to be. You can tell.
Yeah, it's shocking.
I instantly picked up on one of the little girls.
Ew.
I'm like, oh my heart just crushed.
I cried watching that video. I cried. Really, it scared the pee out of me.
By Rock House?
Wow.
Is that it? By Rock House? The New World Order? No, New World Order theme song.
It was on the World Health Organization's homepage.
Did you see the video of Greta Thunberg's
So-
mother doing this satanic?
It's not these guys.
Anybody see
It's
that?
not them?
No,
Rock House?
no.
Oh, okay. Ooh. Well, I want to go to their website though. I've been there before. I'm not sure I want to go back. That's creepy.
The New World Order song.
Yikes.
They're on a field with white gowns, adults standing behind the children.
Oh, that's not the one I saw. Really, I saw a bunch of. They look like, I want to say Hawaiian or Samoan.
Yeah. They had the white on they have the leaves going around their
Yeah.
head.
Okay.
Yeah.
New World
And you just
Order.
listen to the
Oh,
words.
the leaves, the Caesar leaves.
The crown. You see the crowns.
Because I was gonna say, did you see Greta Thunberg? Is that her name? Greta Thunberg or whatever. Her mom doing that satanic dance with the opening of the CERN machine
No.
in Belgium or someplace or wherever they're from, and it's some weird. They have the leaves on their head, and it's some weird satanic dance, and she's going nay 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 nay.
Okay.
Wow.
Look that one up.
I haven't seen that.
I'm looking for it.
No, it's not a bug baby. It's like a.
It's on the UN newworldorder.org.
It was the World Health Organization is the one that shared. Lori Root Riley also shared it yesterday. I believe it was yesterday is the first time I seen the video. I'm like, wow, they definitely ain't hiding it now. It's out there.
They're announcing it. They're advertising it. They're laughing in your face about it. There is no hiding.
Yeah.
They're like daring you to try to do something about it. Come stop us, haha. Either come stop us or come join us, because here we are.
That's true. That's true.
There's no really.
If we ever get past our cowardice.
It was shocking. It's so blatant now.
Don't have any resources.
So it's the new We Are the World.
Oh, that's right.
We're
What
the
a
new world
comparison.
order.
Right?
We're vaccinating your kids so you don't know the difference.
So
It
we
would suck
can
if they were
rape them
keeping
and drain them.
I just
they
want
were
to
Yeah.
say, I
killing.
said earlier that we need to grieve what's happened to us. I'm a developmental specialist. I've seen kids who are vaccine damaged recover. It is possible. There are protocols
Where
out
is
there which are
where is
removing
it?
heavy metals, and you will see improvements. There's a thing called TRE or something. It's a volcanic ash that is highly detoxifying, almost like a magnetic ash that removes the heavy metals from the brain. CBD, the light photon stem cell activating patches, just a detoxing diet. All of these things, you will see improvement in your vaccine damaged child. Get them out of these programs, get them off the medications, and start giving them CBD and detoxifying their bodies, and you will see improvements.
Yeah.
There's a boy on Facebook right now. His mother is a good friend of mine, Brooke Michelle Soto. I'll put her because if anybody has vaccine damaged kids, please be in touch with her. She's showing her son's progress over the past 2 years. She's out there. She's an ex. She's a past cheerleader for the Titans, and she's a L'Oreal, executive. Absolutely gorgeous woman. She has 3 boys, and her oldest is severely vaccine damaged after his 18-month-old shots. So she's completely reversed it, to be honest,
Cool.
with the CBD, and she's also done other things too. She's also using the TRS, which is that magnetic volcanic ash. So I highly recommend, because its magnetic tendencies or properties actually pull the heavy metals out, and then of course you're gonna poop that out or sweat it out,
Yeah.
tox it out.
Well,
Oh, you're kidding me. You know what just happened? It says you blocked Lori Riley.
what?
Oh, wow. So I can't go to her page. Oh, well played. Well played, Facebook.
Should I go to her page?
Hang on. Let me see if I can.
friends with
I
her,
think because the
though.
last time I saw something like that, you had to wait a few days before you could go to their page. Hold on. Wow, was that quick? I just mentioned her name, and it said you blocked her.
Aw.
I'm
Weird.
trying to get to her page net. No, it's not weird. Okay, no, I got to it. No, it's software. Oh, I'm unfriended. Oh, this is crazy. Dang, y'all suck. Y'all suck. And I got to add her back as a friend. Is Lori around? Oh, that sucks. Yeah, this is how they get down. This is how they do it.
Oh, they went through and unfriended me from some of my friends last year, and it was all the people that like support me and that I have conversations with of any substance. They went through and unfriended me from like 100 of my friends last year. And I blame my ex hacking my phone, and it wasn't even him.
Usually it's like somebody obscure, like someone that you don't really talk to. I talk to Lori probably every day, and it's crazy. Like it's never happened to somebody so obviously like that so quickly.
Wow.
It happened.
I'm wondering if I can find it.
Well, we're on to them. That's the good thing. We're on to them.
Well, see, that's the funny part. And this is the thing is I don't think it's people. I think it's all software.
Yeah, it's the AI.
Yeah.
It's definitely the AI doing
Yeah,
it.
it's just all software. That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's quick in what it's doing.
Yeah.
Very quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had to have
Riley.
like I only have just a few friends, people I really know. As friends on my Facebook, 'cause I think I only have like 35 people. But some days I'll look and see, and I'll have like 40 people as my friends on my list, and they're not. And I can't pull them up on my list of friends, but it'll say I have 45 friends, and I don't.
Yeah.
It's like
Wow.
they come in and they can see your
checkers.
Yeah, but they're not actually listed.
And then they show up on your news feed. Whenever I see somebody show up on my newsfeed that I'm not friends with, I go and block them. I report them and I block them. And because I was suspecting something like that, but that's exactly what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have a lot of AI profiles, right? Well, we say it's AI. I mean, really, it's just it's learning software. I don't think it's AI yet, but it's or not true AI. But they add friends and they'll do things like they'll report you from software profiles. Like they have a million ways to Sunday to mess with you or reduce the message.
Yeah, they'll friend you just to report you.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
And there are people who do that too, and that's true too.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that's Facebook. I know already there's 3 other platforms that are trying to get started. One is MeWe. My oldest son supposedly is developing an entire search engine or alternative. I mean, he won't tell me what he does. He's kind of weird. But he's a major hacker, and I've told him, look, you and your little friends better get me a new Facebook platform. So they're out there, and we just need to decide in mass to move our amazing selves over to one of those platforms and start building from there. And go jump in the lake, Facebook, because we all know what's going on, and we are being hindered, and we are being unnecessarily bullied and harassed, and I think there's a way out. Let's just move ourselves out. Keep your Facebook account, but let's set up camp somewhere else. And I'll do my part this week to look into what those options are. I encourage everybody to Google look up MeWe, any alternative social media platforms. Even Twitter's controversial too, but we have a little more freedom on Twitter, I think.
Yeah, I like Gab and I like VK. Actually, I was on Minds too. I downloaded the app just 2 days ago, which is like confirmation that you said that. Because what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna start every other post. I'm not gonna put on Facebook. Every other post, I'm just gonna put it live. I don't know if the Gabs or Minds yet, but it's just somewhere else. Because I think the big danger is I find myself self-censoring. Right? Like they're training me. They're training me like a good dog. Right?
Yes.
They're teaching me that there are certain things I'll go to Facebook jail so I don't say. There's certain things that they'll penalize me on so I don't even address the content. And having a discussion here is useless because on certain topics, because you can't even post the things that the other person you're having this discourse with needs to see. Right? The links are blocked. They won't let you post them, or they delete it, or they'll put their little false little fake book checker thing on there. And so you can't even have a true one-for-one conversation discourse with someone because you can't give them the information they need to educate themselves. So we have to start to move off.
Somebody just said Global Witness. For me, it's like Facebook, but made by Derek Bros. What's Global Witness? That sounds interesting. Is that like a Facebook, social media platform?
Perhaps. We'll get another reply. But the other thing is today Thursday?
Yes.
I have to apologize. I was just on Lori's page. I didn't realize that Del Bigtree was on today. We did this during Del Bigtree, and I screwed up. I didn't know that. I would not have done this today.
Schedule that.
I would have done it tomorrow. I didn't know it was Thursday. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. But that was something Del mentioned, and Dr. Buttar also, is that there is a big RFK has that lawsuit against Facebook. Right? That's a big lawsuit. And they have one. He wanted to mention another. There are multiple platforms. I think Twitter is the other one. And I think the other one probably is YouTube that he said he can't mention. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the censoring and the things they do. Because the thing is, like now where it's at, you're almost colluding with other corporations.
Yes.
In a way that's getting people killed. Right? You've gone past just trying to control the narrative for votes. When you start censoring doctors who are like trying to have discussions with people and how to be safe and how to not kill themselves or
putting people's lives in danger, right?
Right. You're literally colluding and you're putting people's lives in danger. Wow. And so it'll be interesting to see if they back down. You know,
Well, don't you dare say Zuckerberg is a pedophile, because that'll get shut down really quick.
Well, and sometimes you just gotta sue a son of a gun. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta sue them down to their knees.
You have to speak their language, right? They just want to make money. Like Facebook, I don't think Zuckerberg has much influence in Facebook. I think he makes the money and he just wants to live his life. And he's got, what is it? Is it called the Global Alliance? The ones that do all the checking and, the NATO Alliance, whatever they're called. They're a department within NATO that pretty much dictates to them what can be said in what countries. Yes. And that's how they control the narrative. So I don't think Zuckerberg's got anything to do with anything. I think he's just there and they're basically saying what can and can't happen. I think he's a young guy who wants to make billions of dollars and he'll make it any way he can, but he's going to have to bend the knee to NATO. He's going to have to bend the knee to the nations he's working in. And every nation's got their own narrative that, things that they allow their people to see.
I think you're giving that pedophile way too much of a conscience, but okay.
No, it's not a compliment. It's definitely not a compliment. No, to me, I've said.
I said conscience. You're giving him way too much of a conscience.
No, I'm saying he's indifferent. I don't think he cares. I don't think it doesn't matter. To me, every billionaire is a psychopath. Every last one of them. Like I'm not on team Oprah. I'm not on team anything. If you have $1 billion of something that can save lives and help people, and you refuse to do that at all, and kids are being, trafficked and they're being killed and abused, there's something wrong with you. You need to have your head examined. You need to be sitting on a couch somewhere. So while my favorite is Jeff Bezos, who is his name? Elon Musk, because I think he says a lot of interesting tech things that are important, he's still in that category. Yeah. If someone put $1 billion in your hand, I bet you would do some amazing things to help people. And I don't see any of them doing it. So to me, it either means they're going along with the club, they're in the big club, or, they're one of the members that are doing this stuff.
It's great.
They were talking about Sister Teresa. I think it was Robert Walker was on his page this morning. He asked a question. He said, do you think Sister Teresa, was involved in this pedophilia and whatever and all this child trafficking?
You mean Mother Teresa?
Mother Teresa. There you go. Mother Teresa. And
1,000%. Yes.
So
looks like.
Well, I like to think about things from a logical perspective. So if you are that high up in the world in terms of popularity, you know what's going on. Right? If you were that high up in Hollywood, you know what's going on. If you're that high up in Washington, you know. And so Mother Teresa, she definitely knew what was going on. There's no way they're grabbing this amount of kids without you knowing.
Some people say she's Fauci's grandma. Look at her.
Oh, Lord.
Look at Fauci. They're twins. I posted it. I'll find it and post it again. Like the guy from Lincoln Park is
Podesta's son.
Podesta's son.
Lost son. He was.
It doesn't surprise me when you're high up, you're either looking the other way or you're involved. To me, it's the same thing. To me, it's the same thing. If you're abusing one child, you might as well have abused 80 million. It's the same thing. I don't make them at all because to that one child, it was everything. So, and if you're looking the other way, it's the same thing. So to me, they're all psychopaths. I don't know.
Oh yeah, they are. It's funny, like if one of them was to actually have to put an effort into actually helping somebody in real time, in real life, they would run from it just because they have money. They would be scared to even associate with any one of us.
Well, yeah.
I think it should be an obligation.
It's like
obligatory.
Touch with others. It's weird. What money?
Yeah, it's easy to relax in your 3-car garage and your $250,000 a year salary from both parents, and you don't want to question the schools because your kids are in school all day, and for you to make your $250,000 salary, and so there's no reason for them to question anything, even if when they have vaccine damaged kids. It's easier for them to put them on the meds and have them go to therapy or whatever they're doing, than it is to actually admit the truth that their child has been damaged and they should be upset about it. But how
Yeah.
upset can you be when you have a 3-car garage and a $500,000 salary?
There should be no such thing as a
money
$500,000 salary.
Money's comforting, isn't it?
It's, I don't know, like
That's why all of us that are on the front lines have nothing right now. Because I honestly believe that we all had to experience a major loss. I mean, not that we all have nothing, but a lot of us are suffering in our lives more than we ever have. And for me personally, I had to have physical money away from me physically. That's what I think. In order for me to really ascend to the place I'm trying to get to, money is so evil to me now. Money's not currency. Those are not the same things to me. Money is not currency. The money that's on the American dollar has nothing to do with currency, but that frequency is very evil to me. When I have a lot of money, which I have, things aren't necessarily better for me. Spiritually and mentally, I'm not always that great. When I have no money, is when I really do some inner work, right? And I've also just felt like I'm not allowed to have it around me right now. And I think a lot of us we're having to do different work that doesn't involve the security and the comfort of that fake money.
yeah.
That could even be evil, if you ask me. It could even be evil.
Basically, I'm a paycheck to paycheck family, and I'm the richest woman there is.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I'm completely dependent on a state that's trying to murder me, and I've never been happier. So, fuck them.
I don't know.
Tiana, that's awesome.
No, my husband
real.
loves playing lotto, but I'm not. I don't care. Actually, I'd be scared to win the lottery because some of the people that I love, it may change them, and I don't want that.
Because then you would be approached by the fucking evildoers and be manipulated and forced into their society because you have what they have and they want to take it. So I wouldn't want that for them either.
Money does it. It seems to change people. Yeah.
I think if you pay attention to it, the symbolism on it, there are spells and stuff that go into that paperwork. Yeah. And when you use it and you participate in it, you become entranced by it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, how do you survive without it?
You grow your own food. You set up trade centers. You guerrilla graft every tree in every city. You seed bomb every piece of land that you can find. You learn to share and depend on your fellow neighbor and not the fucking psychos there trying to fucking murder us. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
We say, fuck this psychosis, and we stop participating in it, and we learn to help and support each other and not help and support them like we've been doing. Fuck them. It's not about them. It's about us.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
But
but that's how you do it.
Everybody, you know, that's easy. Growing your food is very important. I know that. But what about the land you grow it on? Nobody has that kind of money to go buying up land and getting deeds. And even if you did, they could supersede it and take it.
I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment, and I managed to grow food. Where there's a will, there's a way. You make it happen. I'll make it happen.
I got a property, but I also have a mortgage I got to pay. And
well, I think that's where part of not participating comes into. That's participating. We need to say, I'm not going to pay your rents anymore. I'm not going to pay to live on the planet I was born on. I'm not paying your mortgages. I'm not paying your taxes. I'm not paying your rents. I'm not paying your utilities. I'm not buying your food. I'm not using your money. I'm done with your corruption.
That's the only way this
bullshit
crashes. As soon as we don't vaccinate our babies for a week, the vaccine industry would be done. I mean, if everybody
if everybody just pulled out and said no more.
There have been no SIDS deaths during this 5-month quarantine. No SIDS deaths.
I noticed that.
Because there's no babies going to the doctor for their shots.
So we need to all just stop participating. The problem is we still participate. So they still provide.
Find a midwife. Stay the hell away from a hospital, for one thing, if you're pregnant. And that's some risky advice for me to give. And let me just say, I'm not a nurse or a doctor, but I'm a doula, and I've never seen a baby die in a home birth. I'm not sure that there are even documentable data on babies that die at home. But
I had a baby die at home.
murdered in hospitals. So
It happens. I've had a baby die. I've home birth.
at home, yeah,
My
but it happens
biological
a lot less than it does in the hospital. I mean, daily they're not only dying because of the birth process. You can't give birth on your back. King Henry VIII had women that he was a pervert. Does anybody remember King Henry VIII? He was a freak of nature. Women used to go hang from a branch in a tree and birth a baby on a pile of leaves. That's how easy it is. I've had 3 what they call orgasmic births. Birth is painless. It's
What
absolutely painless.
Yeah,
I've had 12 and not one of them were painless. How is that?
Mine were painless.
Literally,
It's
I
called
had to be on my
orgasmic
feet.
birth. You birth
And then
a
if
baby
you're-
through
if
having an
you're-
orgasm, and
when you're-
it's painless. We used to do that. Okay, then these guys met in the basement of Oxford University and decided that they wanted to hijack the mother-child bond, and so they kicked the midwives out of the delivery rooms in the 50s and started putting chloroform on our faces and yanking our kids out with forceps so that they could inject them with heavy metals and amputate their sexual organs while we were still unconscious. Okay, and then the Bible tells you that women were punished with the pain of childbirth. That sounds like some patriarchal baby blood drinking bullshit to me.
Oh goodness.
So we're told we suffer. Well, King Henry VIII enjoyed watching his women give birth. He liked to watch it because he was sick and he wanted to be there. He couldn't see it when they were hanging from the tree branch, so he had them lay on their backs. Okay, when you lay on your back, your baby has to go over an actual mountain called the pelvis.
Yeah.
His head, for those 30 hours that you were pushing, oh God, I pushed for 30 hours. No, you didn't. You don't push for 30 hours. It's called a contraction. The contraction takes complete control over a healthy, functioning woman's body in the right position, and it removes a human from your butt with no problems. There's no such thing as pushing, you sick Satanists. King Henry VIII freaks. They want to sit there with your legs open and watch your baby's head hit your pelvis for 30 hours. So that they can cut it out of you and make their boat payment. That's
you really
what's
don't
going
have
on.
to push.
70%
all this other crazy
cesarean
stuff
rate in the world right now.
Mhm.
Satanic removal of your fetus before it's due. It's a satanic ritual. They do it at 3 months. They do it at 5 months. They do it at 7 months. And they do it at 9 months. And depending on the blood of that baby, they get different powers from it. Yeah. So, yeah, birth is not meant to be painful. That's all lies, folks. King Henry VIII wanted to see these women on their backs. So, to this day, your doctor has you lay on your back and watches your baby's head hit your pelvis until he cuts it out of you. If you stood up on the floor of the hospital and squatted down, that baby would come out.
I don't know a better place to bring this to an end. I will say, Sister Holly, you blew up the spot on that one. I have to think and process. Just when you think that this was no eviler than evil is evil,
That's right. Please
psychopathically, dirtily, dastardly, I think this is a great place to end this very, 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 very long live stream. You blow me away when I have to say that that is wow.
Don't get women talking.
Wow. Wow. I don't know what to say. Thank you for that nugget. I appreciate that nugget. And we gotta get rid of this psychopathic, elitist, crony, lying, filthy, funky, dirty, foul banking, birthing babies on your back nonsense over a pelvic bone, causing problems. Oh my God, I don't even know what to say to that. You blown me away. You blown me away. If I were a woman, and I would never be, but if I ever was, first of all, you ain't never get me pregnant. If I was a woman, it wouldn't be a penis between us in my house, down the street. I wouldn't let y'all near me with no damn penis. Okay, I've seen the show, But you changed something. I don't know, man. I gotta think about this. You done ruined my. I don't even know.
What fascinates me
I'm
is I've
sorry,
been in
y'all. I'm
So you
hospitals
sorry,
where
just
they
y'all.
stand
won't
up
let
and
you
hold a
squat.
tree branch. That it just makes it. The scary thing, Holly, is that just makes so much damn sense.
Yes, sir, it does.
That's
It's
the
What's
very
scary part.
scary.
But my
What's horrifying
indoctrination
is
is fighting it. It's just ugh. Like, because you think about what kind of sick person. Wow.
what's scary is the whole medical field participates in it because they don't let you go in there and just squat labor. You can't go in there and just say, "Here, let me just squat and be comfortable."
Oh no, they
No,
scare
you
you.
They
need to
don't.
lay down.
Get her to labor, and then they strap a monitor on you until you can't get out of bed.
Yeah, lay down.
Nobody else has.
Period.
Nobody, because I think about the deer and the antelope and the elephant. When they have babies, they make a little bit of noise. I mean, something's patting, and bloop, it just pops out and they're done. The human being
Right?
is the only one that's screaming and hollering, grabbing your arm, just cutting the blood off, and yeah.
No, it's not supposed to be like that, people, at
Mm.
all. If anybody's
Wow.
interested, if you're pregnant right now,
Wow.
I'm in the land of the hippies. I have the world's best
So,
doulas, water birth assistants. These women are actually, they went on to get their physician's assistants licenses. So they come to your house with a truck full of oxygen tanks,
that's
defibrillators, everything that you would need in a situation. They have full contact with the hospitals, but to really be educated about how you can actually birth your baby. Have you ever thrown up real bad after you drank and there was nothing stopping it? It was just like blah, that
uh,
projectile stuff. Birth works the same way. The body actually gets a signal, and it's actually an orgasm. A contraction is an orgasm of a sort. So if you're cooperating with that energy, yeah, there should be no tearing.
so you're telling me the doctors are aware of all this? They know this?
Oh yeah.
Motherfuckers. Wow.
You blew
That's
the spot.
criminal. That's fucking criminal.
You blew the spot up with that one. I have never, just when you think you heard it all, just when you think it's safe to go back in the waters. Nope, these
That's
rock
torture. That's torture.
it literally is. It literally is. That
Oh, I'll
is
tell you one thing.
insanity.
When I was in labor with my first son, I went in and laid down on the bed. I mean, the girls tried to keep me walking. I walked up a hill I walked up like a 70-degree hill right before my kid was born. Because that's what brings baby down. That's what gets that head in the right place. That's what oxygenates your blood, so you can do that. But I tried to go in and lay on my bed on my back, and I mean, and then I couldn't get up. I just shrieked. I was like, "Oh my God! How in the hell do they do this?" Like the whole position, everything
It
was just
hurts so bad.
wrong. And I'm thinking to myself, women lay there on that hospital bed for 30 hours strapped down because they tell them they have to. Yeah, it's torture.
I was just having this conversation with my daughter the other day. She's talking about how she's scared to have babies because it hurts, and so
Oh no.
I have to totally rethink how I talk to my child now. I'm appalled. I'm telling her, yeah, even if they cut it out and babies hurt, honey. So that's just part of having babies. I can't
No,
believe I'm
it's
even talking
not.
about
Giving birth is a beautiful experience that allows a woman to fully understand her feminine divine powers for the first time. I mean, you literally
So they
die. Literally
stole
die
that
in
from me
transition.
12
So if
fucking
you're
times.
conscious, they
So
want you unconscious when you transition too. This is very
You
important
mother-
because when you transition, right before that head comes out, you leave your body long enough for the baby soul to come through. You actually die. And those are the
you
moments
mother-
when the ladies are screaming, "I hate you. I'm not doing this." I sat up after about a 6-hour labor. I laid down and went to a state. I got myself to 10 centimeters and I sat up and I told these 4 women in my room. One was knitting. They'd been sitting there, watching me contract, dilate. And I sat up and I looked at him. I said, "You know what?" This was my first child. I said, "Y'all can get your little oxygen tanks and your little baby stuff and just get on out of here because I'm not doing this." I mean, literally, I'm like giving him. I said, "None of you have succeeded in explaining to me how this human is going to get out of my body right now. Like, get out. This is not happening." just get out of my house and don't come back. I'm not doing this. And of course, my midwife was just kept knitting and rocking, going, okay, Holly, well, we'll see how you feel in about 45 seconds. Because she knew I was in transition. She knew I was at that point in my body and my mind where I really didn't think I was going to be able to do this, because it is such a magnificent process. And usually that's when they give you your epidural. Too
Yep.
late. Or
You
that's when
motherfuckers.
they,
Yep.
put a mask on your face. Or that's when they buckle down with their feet under the table and try to pull your kid out in between
Or
contractions.
they stick their fucking arm elbow deep and just fucking pull it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Motherfuckers.
Oh, hey, ho, ho, hey, ho, ho, hey.
Twice. They've done
So
that to me
there
twice.
are some very
Wait,
invasive procedures
Motherfuckers.
that they do to
I'm,
women
I'm,
in labor.
can you take me back?
Women are raped during labor. You're
Please,
right,
You
Tiana.
motherfuckers.
They
please,
will do that, and
please
it's
take me
absolutely
back.
unnecessary and damaging.
Can y'all take me back just for a minute? Just take me back. Take me back. So I'm blown away. To be honest with you, and rarely does something like really disturb me. So they took a natural birthing process, because I listened to, like, the midwives and that whole thing, and you think I thought it was always about, because there's a natural process and I don't want the epidurals, blah 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 blah. But you literally are making the first interaction between mother and child, and even father and family, a
Trauma.
painful one, a traumatically
Trauma.
drugged one, the
Before you're even out of the womb.
dastardliness behind that. I'm not. So I'm gonna try to tell you, I'm disgusted. I am, but not the birthing process. I'm disgusted by the level of evil that is. That's what's bothering me. They're looking at my face, they're saying they feel sorry for men. No, I'm blown away at how evil that is. And if there's never been another moment I've been so believing that this is a spiritual thing, that this is true spiritual warfare,
Yeah.
it's when I hear something like that. Like that is. And so what was the history? I just want to hear this, and we are going to have to wrap this up though. I don't know of any more powerful of a point to wrap it up on. You said it was because a sick king wanted to see just the vagina or something like that. Like this was all about.
He wanted a view of the birth. Yeah. King Henry
A view?
VIII. He was also known to be a very, very sick man sexually. But yeah, he wanted a better view of the birth, because he had lots of women that he impregnated, and it was part of his sexual twistedness, and God knows what else. He was probably eating the babies, but yeah, that's how it started. But when you understand the takeover of the obstetrics industry in the 50s after World War II, and the German scientists that were brought over here to continue experiments, they had to step in because the women were in the labor rooms in the hospital. Only women should be attending a woman's birth unless it's her partner or her sons. We should be surrounded by women when we're birthing, not some pissed off nurse with a mask on, telling you that you have to wait for the anesthesiologist. I'm sorry. And then they end up giving you, it's total trauma and violence, and it's disgusting. I as a doula in the hospital, I've seen
It is. How many times they want to fucking finger you? Let me check. Let me finger you and check. Let me put this up in here and check. That's not fucking necessary.
It's a chance to rape a woman, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's also shows you have no power over your own yoni. Like, you have nothing to do with the fact that you're getting a human out of your back end right now, and they're going to do it for you because you need them. This is a mentality that started in the 50s. We haven't been at it very long. And as you noted, just like rats and monkeys, we're very easily trained. We're probably easier trained than rats and monkeys, to be honest. But yeah, it didn't take long. Well, first of all, because women were like, oh, you can take this uncertain moment and make it certain for me. Just put me under. Yeah, sure, I'll go for it. Because like I said, before you give birth, it's scary. Like I kicked the midwives out of my house. I said, I'm not doing this. You might as well go home. I'm not doing this. And she's like, well, but you're 9 months pregnant and you're in transition, so you might be doing this anyway, whether you think you're doing this or not. You're doing this. But I had decided no. I was terrified. I had just sat up on the couch and looked at my belly and considered the size of my back end, and I was like, how is this supposed to happen? Like, what's going to happen now? Like, how does this go down? No, they're just rocking and knitting and looking at me like, breathe, honey. And I just canceled the whole show. That's how scared I was. So that's the mentality we go into pregnancy with. We need support, not the doctor saying, well, you need a flu shot now, or you need a DPT shot. They wanted to do a pap smear on me when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
So they're profiteering from it. They're selling drugs. They're creating a lengthy process. This is Rockefeller medicine all over again. Instead of doing what's natural and what works, you have all of these expensive procedures and ways to profit off of creating such pain out of a natural process. All right, I'm gonna end it there. I'm blown away. Appreciate that. I definitely will share that message. And this is why you can't let patriarchs design a world that women live in. That's insanity. That's pure insanity.
Amen.
Well, I got one word for you, Ghislaine Maxwell. It's the patriarchal.
Sorry.
Also includes members of the female gender at this point. Yeah. But it's why I'm so obsessed with circumcision and babies. I talk about it all the time. I talk about pregnancy, being conscious as a pregnant woman, being conscious birthing our children, being conscious within the 72 hours after they're born that nobody lays a hand on them for any reason. This is absolutely something we have to get a hold of. We'll never get anywhere. But thank you guys again. I appreciate it. Very nice to get to know you better, Tiana. And thank you, Gerard, for giving us all this opportunity.
Yes, thank you. I greatly appreciate it.
I appreciate the bombs that y'all have dropped. I don't even know what to do with them. I was going to tell you my experience watching my wife give birth, but I can't do it. I can't do it. I honestly have a doctor I need to go find and choke. I'm not going to do it, but the things I saw and the things he did to my wife at the time, I feel like I need to find this man. I feel like that. But so anyway, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for sharing your message.
You're welcome, guys.
And for sure, each one teach one, and please teach the young women the correct way to be a woman. I can't believe it. We've gone this far off the rails. It's insanity. Hey, listen, y'all have a great day. Thank you so much. Love that y'all took the time. We'll do this again.
Thank y'all. Love you guys. Have a great day.